Eastland match of the round. Welcome to Tormore Reserve between Boronia and the Waverley Blues. A big afternoon ahead. It's a top of the table clash between the two undefeated sides of Division 2. I'm Ryan Long, media manager for the Eastern Football Netball League, and joining me on the pre-game this afternoon is Blake Tennant and Ray Baird. Blake, I'll start with you. You're back on the side. You had the weekend off up in Adelaide for Gather Round, and back at the local footy this weekend. A big afternoon for everyone with a massive game.
Indeed. Yeah, welcome listeners, one and all. It's great to be back in Melbourne. It's actually sunny now, sunny skies. Don't want to jinx it, but yeah, had a good trip away in Adelaide.
I think we'll be safe today with the weather.
Yeah, it looks all right, and I had a great trip in Adelaide. The city was a lead, but now we're back to a bit of local footy, and yeah. And before we get Ray, I've actually did a bit of homework from our man Scotty. I found out the winning streak. So
here we go.
Do you want me to mention it now, that the winning streak, or you want rather
we've got Tom Langford just about to join us, so maybe you'll leave that just for after he's come on. Ray Baird, back again. You were there last week at Noble Park for a big Premier Grand Final rematch between the two sides, and for 3 quarters, Rowville looked at goods before Jackson Sketcher took over the game.
Yeah, certainly right, Ryan. Look, first of all, it's great to be out here at Tormore Reserve. The ground is probably looks the best I've ever seen it out here, which most grounds are at this time of the year anyway. And with the Dandenong Mountains in the background, very picturesque, almost as good as Montrose there, Blake. No, but look, last week, we didn't see that coming at 3/4 time, and good luck to Noble Park. They obviously done their homework, but Rowville, I'd take nothing away from their performance. They probably outplayed Noble Park for 3 quarters, and they got a big game today down at Seaback Oval against Balwyn, so we'll just see how they shape up today.
Yeah, absolutely, and we will touch on during the pre-game a few of the games around the grounds. There's certainly with Premier Division, there's a few big fixtures there, but right now we're actually joined by Tom Langford, the head coach of the Waverley Blues, back out there playing today. Tom, thanks for joining us. It's been a fantastic start of the season for your boys, 3-0, and been some pretty highly rated sides as well. So, again, another big test today, but I'm sure you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Great start to the year. I mean, the results are what they are, and really been really enjoyable. And today, the sun's out, which is great after a tough one.
Yeah.
In the rain at Eastfield last week, but another great chance to play against another side that's touted as another finalist, and we get a chance to see how we stack up.
And a couple of your key recruits over the off-season, Chris Diggle, they featured pretty well in the first couple of weeks. How have you seen their transition into the side, and what sort of value do you expect from them today for us covering the game?
I think most importantly, we're an incredibly young side, and I think the average age in our premiership last year was only 23, and I think I've touched on before, when you had a 35-year-old running around, it fattens that up a bit. So, and even younger this year, with some of our young talent coming through and forcing their way in. So for those two in particular, it's probably leadership first and foremost, and experience that we ask from them. I mean, Diggs is a fantastic communicator. He's great on the track, very always communicating to the boys and sharing his experiences, coming back from VFL footy. And, he's a great organiser for our defence. And Ducky, as more of a experienced senior player through the midfield, he's probably one who sort of sets standards with his running prowess. The work through the GPS units is through the roof, and he just really sets the standards there. So he's someone who really we lean on to sort of make the example for the younger mids to follow. So probably for the two of them, it's probably more just blending into our style of play and our system, and then setting the standards on and off the track as well.
G'day, Tom. We touched base last year, of course, with your grand final heroics that happened, and we also saw you guys again against Donvale.
Yep.
You must have definitely kept a lot of your plays, just the way you guys are bonding right now. To be 2-0 with
3-0 as well.
3-0 potentially. It just shows that you must have kept your core from last year to keep you guys going into this year.
So the team that won the premiership, 16 players on that side have played age group footy for Waverley. So there was a bit of a interesting sort of rumour or perception going around. I mean, I think the quote from one of the rival clubs was that we'd bought a premiership, which was just laughable when 16 of the players of the 22 had played age group footy. I mean, in today's side, there'll be 15. So absolutely, that's something that we really pride ourselves on, is that our core group are all, super close. And that's something that I think it comes through the way we play. Really important that you really have a high level of care of not just yourself and your own game, but what the team's trying to do and what your mates are trying to do with you.
Tom, coming up to Division 2 now, you've played 3 games. Has there been one significant difference you've found out from playing 2? Apart from Coldstream, all those other Division 3 grounds are all small grounds. So even out here at Tormore, it's pretty wide open spaces. So this is something that Waverley Blues have had to adapt to, and they've done it pretty well so far. Yeah, and
they moved the ball so well, and we saw them in the grand final last year, and it wasn't their best game because you looked at their form during the season. They pumped Donvale twice, and grand final day ended up being a real arm wrestle, but they still did enough to get the job done. And it's just their ball movement is something that I think is going to worry a lot of sides in Division 2. Yeah,
indeed. And from watching Waverley in that grand final and to see him come on a big deck in Jubilee Park, and they're coming up again on another big deck. It'll be awesome to see their ball movement. And as you touched on, grand finals are different than normal seasons. That's how I see it. And
it's a whole different game. It resets. You're 0-0. It's not nothing matters from the form during the season. As you said, but
it'd be good to see how they use the ball on another big deck, because I haven't been to Waverley's Oval in a long, long time. But is it a smallish kind of oval? Not really big as this one. Does anyone?
I haven't actually. I don't know if Ray, you've been out there.
Which oval was that?
Waverley's Oval. Waverley Blues.
It's fairly long, but it's not really wide. No. The biggest problem down there is the cricket pitch in the middle. I don't think I've ever been down a Waverley Blues' ground, and it hasn't been black turf there, sicky. But no, look, they'll play on any ground. Look, they've proved that. And look, the only time I saw them last year, I didn't see them in the final, but the game they played out at Coldstream, and we were out there that day. And what I was impressed with was the fitness of the guys coming off the ground. Sure, they were doing their rotations, but and compared to Coldstream that day, Coldstream were coming off the ground and they were knackered. But, Waverley Blues were coming off the ground and they still could have played. So their fitness is a big part in the way they play their football. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a very professionally run side, and we're looking forward to seeing them today. We'll obviously be touching on them and Boronia a lot more later in the pre-game show. But let's jump into some of the games around the grounds this afternoon. Premier Division, we just alluded to it before with the Rowville Balwyn clash out at Seabeck Oval this afternoon. We saw Rowville last week, and we also saw Balwyn in that Good Friday clash which you were out at, Blake. Obviously, their forward line is very strong. Walker came in and kicked 6. Lyle's still making a big impact there. You've got Goebbels, who didn't have to have a massive game. Charlie Haley is playing today, despite being VFL listed. So they're still at almost full strength. They lose Bowen Smith in the middle, but they come across to a Rowville side which they lost to twice last year. So it's a big.
You reckon from Rowville would probably get the job on Walker today? You reckon?
Look, it could have been anyone really. Yeah. But Eichhoff I'm sure he's playing. Maybe him. But look, any one of those back 6. But as you said, I saw Rowville last week, and apart those first 3 quarters, they played some very good football. Yeah. And they're back on their home turf this week. And I know you said the fact that they beat Balwyn last year, but you've got to remember Balwyn's got a new coach too, so their game plan's probably changed as well. So it's going to be testing for Rowville. But I'm going to still stick with them and think they'll get over the line only by 10 points.
I am too, and I think the conditions certainly will help them. They used every time it was a dry conditions last year. They used it really well and had some big wins. And it's a very young side, as we said. Still, Lockie Vine comes back in that side up forward, which is a big inclusion, and they'll probably be looking to him to hit the scoreboard. And I mean, as you said, Matt Taylor kicked 5 goals, and I think all of them were in the first 3 quarters. He was looking good. He was leading at the ball well, and their delivery inside 50 was a lot better than Nobles for 3 quarters. So I think they take a lot more positives than they would, obviously that last quarter is very unfortunate for them, but I wouldn't be too worried about that. With the way they played in their first 3 quarters, it shows that they're still going to be a big threat this year. Another big game, especially for Vermont here. They travel to Norwood today, I believe they played this sort of matchup round 2 last year, where Norwood jumped him in that first quarter, and they came back
50 points up, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it was about 40 points up or something, and they came back and got a win. But a similar spot that they need a couple of wins early, because that one against Berwick, that probably would have been a game that would have penciled in as a big chance to win at home against a side that they haven't lost to yet. And unfortunately, they go down by 5 points, and believe they had control of that game at some points, and then in the last quarter, Berwick were able to flip the script and win that one. And we don't want to talk about too much because it is so early, but with two sides getting relegated this year, these early wins really count, and they'll be looking for a response today.
Massive, and who would have thought? We're saying 10 years probably, that we'll be seeing Vermont 0-2. Like I don't think that's ever happened in club history and all that. And I reckon I know it's round 2, but I think it's a danger game for Vermont.
Oh, it is. Norwood will go in favourites, heavy favourites, and I think Tweedy and Dixon both back in the side. They're two of their most important players. Yeah. But you look at that, and they pumped Doncaster last week. There's not a whole lot we can really take from that. Rhett Jordan kicked 6 up forward, was impressive, but in the overall scheme of things, we're pretty, unfortunately, pretty low on where Doncaster will finish. But they'll certainly go in favourites, Ray.
Yeah, look, this Norton too, that means nothing. I remember back a few years, and Wayne Brescia probably able to tell me to see one season there they lost the first 6 games and they still play finals. So you can never write Vermont off.
That is true, but it's a much different Vermont side now.
I know it's a different side, and what I was going to say that their list hasn't changed dramatically from last year, so I can't see their standard of football changing much. And I don't think we can take anything away from Berwick. We heard big things coming out of Berwick pre-season, Ryan, and they backed it up last week with a win. But I just think Norwood will be too big and strong and kick enough score to win this game, probably quite easily.
And we are a little bit harsh on Vermont always, but it's because they've been the powerhouse of the league for so long. And I mean, I don't know how many flags they've won. It's over 20.
I think it's 21.
They barely. I mean, last year the missing finals was the first time in a long time. So you watch it closely because they are such a proud club, and they're always an intriguing point because you either love them or hate them, sort of thing. That a lot of people, not us, the fans and that around the leagues. That's one of the most popular questions. How are Vermont going? Like they certainly draw attention.
They're the Collingwood of the Eastern Footy League.
They are.
Everyone likes to see them get beaten.
And speaking of Vermont, I think...
Here's your stat. Here's your big stat you've been researching all week.
This is the homework being told. Scotty Hardy mentioned it in the pre-game, but it's actually Vermont. So Vermont has the longest streak in the Eastern Football League. I believe it's 63 games from 1980...
63 wins in a row.
From 1988... to 1993.
We'll be fact checking that today, I reckon. Good stat though.
So I did my research. So if Scotty's listening, there you go, Scotty. I think he's on Tuesday as well. So we might have to mention that to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving around the divisions. Well done, Blakey. Park Orchards take on East Ringwood. Interesting game. Park Orchards really pushed Doncaster East, who we all consider a chance of the flag this season. For 4 quarters, almost, certainly that first half, I think they were 3 goals 9, so they looked really strong. Just couldn't quite capitalise. And they take on East Ringwood, who... From the reports I've heard, Ray, probably could have won that game. I wasn't out there. Lost by 2 points in really tough conditions on a night game against South Croydon. But, I mean, from a couple of people that I've heard that were there, it was certainly a winnable game that they may have let slip.
Yeah, I don't think we can take much out of the night games anyway. Particularly when the weather was like it was last Saturday night, it was absolutely terrible. But and Park Orchards, we said a couple of weeks ago, they've got to get early wins on the board, and they were pretty good last week as well. I'm going to pick Park Orchards to win this one.
Yeah, for me, if you think about it, from 2021 to 2022, I think it's new promotions going up against each other, and I think Park Orchards got the edge over East Ringwood when they were both in 2021.
That is true, but different East Ringwood side.
I know it's a different side and all that, but it's a hard one. I do have a hunch, but I think I've got to go East Ringwood. I think they've got the forward capacity to do it, but And also you can't get out of Park Orchards, but I think East Ringwood just.
And we've probably been a little bit harsh on Park Orchards in the pre-season,
yeah.
but we don't really know a whole lot about. They haven't had a massive off-season compared to some of the other clubs, so we're still probably learning a bit about them in the first few weeks. They had a strong start last season, and then they dropped off in the second half.
Yeah.
I know that can come down to injuries and availabilities, but
They, like in their pre-season matches from reports, they beat Mooroolbark. I'd say about 16 points, the margin there. So, that's from, I know it's from Premier to Div 1, but still, I think they had a pretty good pre-season. But I think it's just their stars are lacking. Like, I think the Blakey as well and all that. So it's going to be interesting. I know they've lost a few as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're a bit under the table. I reckon.
We'll certainly find out more in the next couple of weeks. We won't really touch on South Korea and Blackburn. We'll be at that game on Tuesday for Anzac Day. Berwick Noble also play on the Sunday. And then the final game in Premier Division, Doncaster East take on Doncaster. Chris Ananakis' 250th? Or is it?
Yeah, 250th,
which is a phenomenal effort from him. And he's been a great servant for that club. And hopefully we wish him all the best today. But they certainly will be up against it with the ins at Doncaster East have brought in. Tom Bell plays his first game for the Lions. They've had a couple other inclusions as well. Very hard to beat at home, and I can't see it happening.
No, look, I can't see it happening either. And congratulations to Chris Anarkis. Look, he's won comp medals in a couple of divisions as well. So he's been an absolute outstanding champion for that Doncaster Football Club. But Doncaster East, they'll be too strong.
Blake, you can't see any way that... can they get up and about? You don't worry about the win, but just really... No, he's not playing. So Robbie Gray back out. Didn't have an impact last week, unfortunately for Doncaster. But
I think with Tom Bell coming in, as he touched on...
very hard side to play against.
It's hard. And, I don't like seeing sides getting, the scoreboard in, but... It's going to be hard, but I reckon it'll be pretty close, I reckon, to that.
And one of Doncaster East prime movers, Chris Phelan, apparently he had a blinder last week. So if he's in good form, he gets it out of the middle and he covers a lot of meterage when he gets the ball. So if he's in form, it's all going to start from the middle. And
looking into Division 1, a couple of big games. We'll start with the Mitcham versus Montrose game. Big clash there at the Walker Park. The Tigers got the job done against Wantirna South. The 7-goal last quarter looked really impressive. We all know that Parenti's out with VFL duties at the moment and no Nick Hallow. And it's the likes of your Jackson Hallows, Jesse Uren, Barton Smith. I believe Cherry had a really good game the first week. Lucas kicked 3 and was, I think, almost best on for the Tigers last week. But they play a Montrose side who probably has the wood over them. They've beaten them both times last year, despite, I think even when they were probably not in the best of form, Montrose, they still got the job done. So, bit of an interesting contest, and they're coming off a loss. So, it's a big test going off to Mitcham, but I think they'll certainly fancy themselves.
Well, I don't think Barton Smith is playing. I don't know if that's 100% there.
I haven't got the team list in front of me, but
I heard. Well, we don't hear what we say, but I think Barton Smith's out. But the big inclusion from Montrose point of view is Ryan Garthwaite.
So we to be clear, on the weekend forecast, we said he was out because he wasn't listed on the team. But apparently your dad just didn't do the team sheet until Friday night, so it's not on us.
Brian Garthwaite will be playing tomorrow. We try. I think Montrose try to play funny buggers already, but he's back and he looks fit and ready to go. But I think the last time these two sides met, I think it was at Walker Park. Everyone was going for Mitcham, and Montrose did completely well. Backs against the walls. I think this is the time where Montrose weren't flying as much as people would say they would, because they've got a talented list, very young group, and it was a great performance down there. I can see the vice versa happening again from Montrose's point of view, to go over there again and do the job, because Mitcham are a very good side. To come back like they did against Wantirna South last week shows that they've got a lot of resilience in their group, because I think they were down at three-quarter time.
Yeah, they were, and Wantirna South had control of that game at multiple stages.
I think it's a great game, and it should be a good game, but I've got to back Montrose in. I think they'll get up, I reckon, by about 2 to 3 goals.
Well, look, there's no doubt both these two teams are going to play finals. But what you got to look at, I do anyway, is current form. And on current form, look, Mitcham have not put a foot wrong. I think they've surprised everybody in the Eastern Football League. And Montrose, well, yeah, that they got beaten last week, but they got a bit of a hiding as well, the margin as well, wasn't it?
I think it was about 20 points.
20 points. It was unexpected, though. But no, I think Mitcham will get over them, particularly at Mitcham.
And also the return of the Oracle this year has tipped the Tigers 99 to 73. Okay. So he's on your train. Your thought there,
the Oracle.
Ray. Yeah. But otherwise, no, that's a very intriguing game. And the other one is South Belgrave versus Wanturna South. Probably the other two big teams in the division. Expect another close one there. One is South. Lincoln Wong kicked 4 in the loss to the Tigers. But South Belgrave, every test they've answered it, and they've back at home, they'll be hard to beat there.
They will be hard to beat up there, and Wanturna South, I don't think they've ever played up there. But look, I'm going to pick Wanturna South today. I don't know. I've just got a feeling that, they bring a bit of toughness to the contest, and if they can do that and put South Belgrave off their game a little bit, because South Belgrave like it played out in the open, I'm going to pick Wanturna South.
Absolutely, and we are joined here by Matt Clark, the Boronia senior coach. Matt, thanks for joining us this afternoon. It's been a solid start to the year, 2-0. Probably haven't played your best footy yet, but you've been able to win, and that's all that matters. So coming up against a red-hot Waverley Blues side who haven't lost in over a year, it's another big test for you boys.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to it. I think to get a test like this really early, or round 3 for us, and it's their 4th game, is what the guys are got the appetite for today. I could sense it in the room that there's a different feel this week, and I think the first couple of weeks, because we've had so many different players playing together, the cohesion of how they're working together, etc., has been a little bit rusty at times. And full credit to Heathmont last week. I thought their ball usage and the way they ran not too dissimilar to what we're going to be dealing with today. Tested us for a long period of time and probably got the better of us for a long period of time. So we're looking to see how we made those adjustments from our review during the week, the footage that we've viewed on Waverley Blues, and more importantly, I've encouraged them to have a bit of fun. It's round 3 for us, so let's go out there, embrace it, try to get that cohesion. It's a little bit lacking at the moment. Allow blokes like Begley and that to really get out and have some fun and show us what they can do today.
Absolutely, and you did mention Begley there, and it's been a big off-season for the club, and he's been the main talking point, but you're bringing guys like Max Brasher there from Upper Ferntree Gully, Flanagan returns to the side today, Kieran Edwards. I mean, obviously there's quite a lot of faces out there, and how they sort of fitted in with the squad coming into the new year.
Yeah, awesome. By character, they're really good people, and I think everyone here wanted us to raise a standard on probably some areas that we've been slipping, and we were slipping because I think we had depth issues. We didn't have 19s for a couple of years. A development team, albeit strong, didn't have the funnel of players that could play really well at senior level, so we had a really targeted, aggressive recruiting approach, and those players you mentioned, plus a few others, Mitch Jello, etc., who came straight in. And we've got players, like we've got 5 or 6 out at the moment who'll come back in. So Mitchy Mellis and Jaden Collins, these sort of guys will come back in next week. But as far as like, if we talk about Max Brasher as one, because I think everyone talks about Begley. Begley's been huge for us. He helps us at training. He helps us with the video review. His intel and his way he's helping us grow as a group has been important. But someone like Max Brasher, who's coming from a club that hasn't had much success, but been a really good player, had to win his own footy. He's given us a lot of outside run. He's learning on the run too, so he's really embracing what we're trying to teach him. His attitude's fantastic, but he's been a real difference for us because we want to move the ball quicker. We want to be a quicker side, and we can't do it without people like Max Brasher here. So he's been good.
Just a quick one, mate. Big in this week with Luke Hannon coming into the side. You must be really happy about him coming into the side, especially for a matchup against Waverley Blues, who of course have been, a great start to the season. You must be really happy that he's coming in.
Absolutely, because Luke's assistant coach here as well now, so he looks after our mids. But funnily enough, he won't play mid today. He'll predominantly be forward and do our forward ruck work. But so he's an important part. He's a good footballer. Round 1, I thought, until he tweaked his hamstring, he didn't tear it last week. He was equally probably best on ground in that game, taking back to where he was in 2018 grand final time. He was marking everything above his head. He was using the ball really well and running on top of the ground. So hopefully today we get a similar game out of him. But I think with Luke Hannon, Ben Robbo, Nick Noops and Mitch Jello as 4 really good marking targets up forward, and we run Damon Fairchild and Josh Begley through there. We'll, if we can get it in often enough, we're going to be really hard to match up on. The challenge for us is when the ball's on the ground, how Nathan Hare and Kieran Edwards, etc., cover that ground ball.
Matty, over the last couple of years, your club has copped a bit of criticism that, you're not kicking enough goals and scoring and that. Do you feel that you've addressed that problem now?
Yeah, I think we weren't kicking goals largely due to game style, so I'll own that, but we had to change our game style due to personnel a lot, Ray, and largely because we were slow in the middle, and it's hard to just take off and play an aggressive, expansive game where you're going to get exposed really badly the other way if you don't have it. So we've had to be really cautious, and we've been brave enough to make second semis and that, but it was never going to take us to where we wanted to go. On small grounds, I think our game style suited that. It didn't suit where we were playing 9 games a year. So I think we've addressed it. We're not where we need to be yet. We're progressing every week. Round 3, we've changed so much of our game style from last year. I don't expect us to be at our peak yet, but we've got better in areas every week. And I think by round 18, certainly the second half of the season, I expect us to be playing consistently good football in an aggressive approach, which is going to allow us to score more, Ray, to your question.
And with the players that you brought into the side, you as coach, are you confident now that if things don't go to plan early, you have the versatility in the players now to switch them into positions to change the game?
Absolutely. I think that was what happened last week. We were able to move a couple of players around. We had a couple of people who weren't feeling well in the game, came into the game probably a little bit ill, and we were able to just hold tight and defend. So we were able to pull that lever that we've had really good for the last couple of years. We said, righto, let's stay in the game until we can work out a way to get people in different positions and then hopefully open up. And that was, for me, that was Damon Fairchild going forward. It was Begley on the ball a lot more, having different combinations around the footy, behind the footy. So, yeah, I'm confident enough that we've got flexibility. I'm just really excited to see how we match up today, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, just another one as well. Of course, we'll touch on the opposition, Waverley Blues. They're really good ball movement side. Is that a tactic you want to try execute so that they don't use that on, especially on a big ground as well as they would have played on Jubilee Park last year? Is that something you want to try get rid of their game from today?
Absolutely. They're going to be super dangerous if we let them get the outside ball. And so I've looked at their stats the first few games. They've not always won the inside footy, but they've won the outside footy every week. So for us, we've got to get a balance of inside, outside, and the contested footy is going to be king for us. We've got to be able to move the ball, lower our eyes, but we've got to cover outlets when they get it, because they chain up better than any side I've seen for a few years in this division. So it's not done on individual talent. It's done on just a lot of aggressive running by a lot of players. They get back well, and they run forward well. So it's going to challenge us in every area that we've been probably poor in, and that's the outside. So I'm looking for it today to see, if we've really taken on board the way we want to move the ball, or if we get safe again, because I think we're still not at the stage where all the time we've been aggressive, and that's what I'm encouraging them to do, but they're still going back into a couple of bad habits, which is slow and long. We're trying to get it out of the game. We're not there yet, but today they've got the reins off. I've given them full. I don't care about the result today. I just want to play our style, and the result will come from that.
Matty, you've been coaching for a long time at One Turner South and here at Boronia. Do you still enjoy it, mate?
I love it, Ray. I love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. And and the beauty of it is at local footy, if you're there for 5, 6, 7 years, you either change the coach or you change the players. And we've been lucky enough to change the players over the last 12 months. And if I thought I'd lost a group, if I thought that someone else could do better, I'm never proud enough to stand in that way. And I've got absolute respect for the Boronia Footy Club, as I did how I parted at One Turner South. So I think there's still hunger there. They're still listening to the message, and they're still wanting what I want and listening to what I'm doing. So, yeah, I do love it. It can consume you at times, Ray. It can interfere with your work week. There's no doubt about that. But, I've got really good assistants around me too, experienced assistants. Adding Luke Hannon into that role this year, trying to develop someone else who could future coach is probably what drives me a little bit too.
And just one last one, obviously the depth of the twos. It's a bit of a headache for you at selection table when you've got, maybe 4 or 5 blokes knocking on the door each week to jump into the senior side. But I'm sure it's a good one to have at the moment. You're 4 goals up there in the reserves, but I'm sure you enjoy that, having, if you do have a couple of injuries along the way, you've got players to come straight in and fill that spot.
Yeah, the hardest part is managing them. because they all want to play seniors. So for me, I've got to be really good in my communication strategy with them and really being honest. That's the best respect I can show them. Telling them where I see them. Sometimes it's just not their time at round 3. They want it to be their time at round 3, but it might be at round 5, 6. There's a couple of guys who are back here at the moment. I'm looking at there. Dill Dow's one of them that, he done nothing wrong, and I could have played him in the same role I played him last week, but it wouldn't have got the best out of Dill, and he needs to go back, play 4 quarters around the footy, knowing that his chance will come. And the problem for these guys too is that there's probably 5 or 6 players who are in our best 6 or 7 who aren't playing at the moment, who will come back in and make us better. And probably our number 1 recruit is always Mitch Mellis. I say that he's a 40+ possession player a game. He's raring and ready to go. We just wanted to be cautious with him this week and unleash him next week.
So next week we'll be seeing Mitch Mellis.
100%.
Yep.
Barring a training injury. He's the most contested, hungry footballer I've ever coached. And I think, when I talk about these recruits like Max Brasher and Luke Flanagan and all these guys coming across, they'll learn from having someone like Mitchy Mellis out there. And Jaden Collins is so important to us too. He's a 6'5" mobile player. I can use forward or back, but a best and fairest winner. There are only 2 I'm naming. Is probably another 3 that'll come back over the next 3 or 4 weeks after that.
You really did, Mitch. You did really miss Mitch Mellis last year, especially in the back end, because you touched on about it. He's just a contested ball winner, and he's just always around there. Do you feel like when you get Mitch back next week, you feel like you guys would be kind of, pushing that full strength type of mode? Yeah,
well, I'll deal with next week after today because we might get a couple of injuries, etc. But Mitch is in our best 2 players, so we need him out there, and absolutely, yeah. So I think whenever Mitch plays, his record of us winning is so good. It's a direct correlation there. Any bloke who can touch the ball 40 times to 50 times a game and get you forward movement, pace out of packs, all those areas that we probably were talking about earlier that were a deficiency for us, he fills that and he takes us to another level. And that's why when he was playing last year, we were beating sides who were winning premierships and playing in grand finals because of that person. Not single-handedly, but he makes us look so different.
Clarkie, thanks for joining us this afternoon. You've always been very generous with your time, and hopefully for your sake you can celebrate with a couple of Melbournes after a win.
That's what I'm looking for. Have a great call, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Clarkie. We are going to our first break of the show. When we're back, we'll be jumping back into the action.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Tormore Reserve for the Eastland Match of the Round between Boronia and the Waverley Blues. We've just heard from both senior coaches before the start of the game, and a lot to speak about across the afternoon. But before we get into that, there's a few other games in Division 2, and one of them happened last night between Heathmont and Ringwood. And a big start from the Jets, Blake. They're two out of three now, and their only loss was to Boronia by 5 points in a game that they almost could have pinched there. They were in front for majority of the game, but a bit of a surprise packet. They started really well, and last night again they got out to a 5-goal lead at half time. And then Ringwood came back, but credit to Heathmont, they held on in the last quarter and had the response.
Yes, and you usually wouldn't see Ringwood losing as much, because I think they're 1 win and 2 losses at the moment. So, but from reports from Ringwood, obviously I was down there on Thursday night. A lot of the boys are travelling this year, so a few of their most experienced players are all travelling overseas, and because due to the COVID pandemic that happened, so a lot of them are travelling. But from Heathmont, boy, the Jets, they are starting to fly. That's definitely for sure. They're flying at the moment. I think they put all the hard work on the second quarter, and they just kept that momentum flowing through the whole game, which is really what they need to improve on, because Ringwood did come. Me and you were there, Ryan, and They did show up a bit of fight, but I think Heathmont did their job in the second quarter to really stamp out the game and also put a statement to the competition. And I spoke to their coach last night, and I think Scotty said that they're nearly at full strength, and that's really what you want to see from Heathmont. I know they've had a pretty average year last year. So I think they missed finals and.
They had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, that's right. Especially in the first half of the season when we saw them play against Boronia out at H.E. Parker, they were missing, I think, 8 or 9 of their best players. And look, when you lose that much of your talent and your key players, it's very hard to recover from. And they sort of in the back end of the season started to build something, but it was a little too late. And look, to their credit, and I don't think anyone, I think Jared Beanland was the only person to actually have them in their top 5. They've done really well to start this season, and we've certainly underestimated them. And looking at the guys that they've brought back in, Bajramov played last night. Jordan Haynes was back inside after a week out, so they're starting to get to full strength, Ray. And once they do, they might be a bit of a smoky this year.
Look, I think that Heathmont, they're one side in that division. I think that got potentially the forward line to kick big scores if once they get their full strength back and they can get some dry weather and play the outside run open football. I think their forward lines could be really potent as the season goes on.
Absolutely.
But Ringwood, look, Ringwood, I'm going to scratch my head with Ringwood. As you said, I did news to me that they've had players overseas and all that, but I go back to the old clock structure. Ringwood, they missed out. They would come to 11 o'clock, and I think you've got 3 seasons to win a flag. They didn't win a flag. Now, to me, Ringwood have gone past 1 o'clock. They've got to go right around again, start again, in my opinion, before they get another chance to win, have a shot at a premiership.
And you're right, and they made the decision not to go up. They had the choice after the 2021 season that was unfinished, where at the time they were sitting comfortably on top of the ladder, and knowing their grand final history, it's no sure thing. But they looked the side to win that year, chose not to go up, wanted to win the flag, couldn't get it done last year. South Belgrade were phenomenal. Blake, is it done? Or, I mean, the thing is also with this season, no one goes up. So there's a few sides who really look at it maybe as a 2-year block. You build this season, see what happens, and then you really go for it next year.
Well, that's kind of what I'm gathering from Ringwood. Like, you obviously want to try, but I think most sides even, because I've seen a lot of players and all that around the league. A lot of people are travelling this year. From every club. It's not just Ringwood. It's from every other club.
Yeah, I know Croydon's got a few outs.
Yeah, so I think most players are thinking, oh, well, is there even kind of like that is there a point?
There should be a point because, it's a ridiculous thing to say because I know that's what some people may think, but it doesn't. It's still a premiership is a premiership whether you go up or you don't. You still get your 10-year reunions, your 20-year reunions. You can't. And I know once you get into August and September, if you're in the hunt for a flag, there's no one that's going to be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, we're not going up. Everyone's going to want to win this
premiership's a premiership, and, Brash said it's kind of like a free hit. So it's exactly right, but I wouldn't say, is it worth playing this year kind of thing. I don't think so. I think this year is probably one of the best years to win a premiership because then you can say, we won the premiership this year, and then you can build that confidence.
Doncaster East did it. They went back-to-back in Division 1 to go up.
You tell Doncaster East that those premierships don't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll tell you what, you won't get out of the joint alive.
And look what they've done now. They've built into a really strong Premier team.
And Ryan, it's interesting what you said. I've never thought about it with the 2-year system as you just brought up. And as long as you don't get relegated, and Ringwood are not going to get relegated because there's 2 teams down the bottom of that division that are really, really struggling. So as long as you don't get relegated, you build this year and have a full-on onslaught next year.
Yeah, they're certainly there's still a chance to play finals, and we can't write them off after round 3. Looking around the grounds for this division, the Basin play East Burwood today. You can't see any way the Basin win, even though at home they're a better side at Batterham. But as we said, it's a team that's very young. A lot of under-19s playing in that side, and they play East Burwood, who get a couple players back. Ed Rickson back, Dove back, I think, as well. So they'll be looking for a win for themselves after their loss to Waverley last week.
Yeah, indeed. And I think with the Basin, from reports, I think there was about 16 players under the age of 22. So I think there's a lot of, pretty much half their side even. I think they've only got about a couple 28-year-olds around that mark. So they're going really youthful this year, the Basin, and I think they kind of will struggle.
Yeah, I think it's just inevitable when you lose that amount of players and you're 6, 7, 8. Maybe even 9 of your best players out the door. And obviously that changes things. Continuing to move on, Upper Ferntree Gully host Templestowe. Big win for Upper Ferntree Gully last week. That caught a few of us by surprise, holding on for 4 points against Knox, which is fantastic for the club. They hadn't won since, I think, about July 10th, 2021, a ridiculous amount of time. And it's great for everyone involved in the club, even the supporters, everyone who puts the time in to get that result. So they're on the
board.
Yeah, they're on the board. Unfortunately, I don't think any of us will give him much of a sniff against Templestowe, who...
Look, I think they'll be in the game till half-time, and that based on confidence of that win last week.
It can start something.
But then I just think that Templestowe will, the bigger body...
It's still a class above, yeah. I think. And that's no disrespect to Upper Gully. That's more... It's a compliment to where Templestowe are at the moment. And then the final game there is this one. Oh, no, sorry. Mulgrave and Knox as well also play. And Mulgrave did get their season off to finally on the board last week, defeating the Basin away from home, and should probably get the job done against Knox, who unfortunately now they may have missed a big opportunity to get an early win last week.
Yeah, indeed. And, I think this game could actually go pretty okay with the form of both sides. Mulgrave, expectations-wise, hasn't been the start where they wanted, of course, with the recruitment that they've got this year. And but it looks like a good game. As much like from a ladder point of view, it looks all right. But I think you've got to trust the experience and all that of Mulgrave to get the job done. And I just want to see Knox put up a fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's just got to be competitive, but that's what you want to look at. Before we jump into Division 3, just to mention, obviously, if you're probably already watching, you already know, but the Facebook stream is down at the moment, so we are just on YouTube and, of course, Radio Eastern 98.1 FM for the entire afternoon, straight to 5:15. So we will be covering a bit of post-game as well. It is also Anzac Day weekend that we do have to mention. And
massive weekend.
Absolutely, and we've got the ceremonies before each of the games, which is fantastic, and I think it's something that the league does, the clubs do really well, and the community in general, to really certainly you know, for everyone who has fought for this country, has served this country, it's certainly something that clubs do well, Blake.
It's a very moving day, Anzac Day. You know, I think as well, we'll see it unfold on Tuesday, but there's probably going to be 100,000 people at the MCG, probably 90,000 even. It's just a very moving ceremony, you know, to hear the last post and to get that big cheer, and it's like grand final week, but it's not grand final week though at the same time. Just hearing that massive, you know, that minute of silence, just hearing nothing, and then after that minute of silence, you just hear a massive roar after that. So
it puts everything in perspective too, that this is just a game that we talk about, and there are certainly far more important things in life, and you know, continuing on, we're just going to jump on to Division 3, and sometimes it's silly to go from one to the other, but that's what we've got to do. It's our job here. And looking at Division 3, probably the biggest game of the round for that division is Ferntree Gully versus Donvale. Ferntree Gully got him last year late in the season when they pumped him, and they were coming home strong, trying to get a spot in the 4. And I think at one stage that game it was about 70-10, which was incredible to see. But it's a big task because I think we looked at Warrandyte as probably the top 2 with Donvale, but I think Ferntree Gully would have something to say about it. The way they've started, Kennedy was really strong last week, kicking the 5 or 6. Their recruits have done really well. McComb back inside as well, Ray. It's a tough lineup, and I think, you know, after today, we'll certainly know if they're the real deal or not.
Yeah, well, certainly will. Look, and I think the weather's fallen into Ferntree Gully's hands. I think that they're much better in these sort of conditions than if we had conditions like last week.
Yep.
I think Ferntree Gully can get Donvale today. I just think that they're playing some absolute great football. Donvale are too, but I just like the way Ferntree Gully, as we said, you know, losing the first 6 or 8 games or whatever it was last season and come home on fire. And we spoke to Waverley Blues last year about them, and they said Ferntree Gully were the second best side in the competition, and they've lived up to it so far. I think they'll get Donvale today. I'm going for the Gully.
Blake, do you have the sort of same opinion? Donvale last week, 97-point winners over Oakley District at home. Very clinical, and it's obviously with their recruits that have come down from Premier Division, very handy.
Well, how good's Brandon Wright been? He's been superb all season to start with, and it's just going to be interesting to see where Ethan Duncan plays.
I think he'll play up forward.
Yeah, but he got listed on the team sheet as playing off it back, but
they prefer him up there. Every time we've sort of spoken to him, they've liked him up there with Murphy, and he does kick 4 or 5 when he gets going. So you want 2 of him.
Yeah,
you want 2 of him.
Let's say though, if Ferntree Gully do get a good start, would you move Ethan Duncan to
well, that's the thing about him. You can certainly, depending on the way the game's going, as you said, versatile, you can move him to sort of suit the style of the game, depending on if you've got the momentum or not, and need to stop someone like a Kennedy up forward who's maybe having a bit of an impact. So are you tipping Donvale there? Or you?
No, Ferntree Gully.
Ferntree Gully?
Shout out to me boss as well, with Ferntree Gully coach. So
Brad Kuyker?
Yeah, you'll be a very happy man that I've tipped Ferntree Gully. So all the best, Kykes.
And I'll go with Donvale just to be the opposing view there. But I'm really looking forward to finding out how that game goes this afternoon. Another big game for Coldstream. They host Whitehorse, who are struggling at the moment. It was a pretty big loss to Fair Park. I don't think anyone would have been surprised to see Fair Park win, but by that margin, I think it was about 70 points.
Was the difference.
That's your concerning point for Whitehorse. And Blake, you know Andrew Haining pretty well. I don't know if you've heard from him in the first couple of weeks on how the club's going, but it doesn't get many easier. They head to Coldstream, who just beat Warrandyte at home, and they play that ground so well.
Yeah, it's a hard one because, you know, obviously Andrew's come from, you know, a first division club where he, and also Premier, Div 1 back then when Premier wasn't around, and he's won
Chandler medal.
He's a Chandler medalist, and to come down 2 divisions, it's not that hard. Oh, sorry, it's very hard. Sorry, to come down from a first division club to a 3rd division club, and it's just disappointing to see, you know, a winnable. You would say it's a winnable game for Whitehorse to come into, but it also shows. I think they played Fair Park, as we touched on, was it that they played?
Fair Park they lost to in Sylvan round 1.
And it just shows that they've got these winnable games, and those games could haunt you in the rest of the year to come. And, you know, as we've touched on with a few clubs like that could start 0-2, you don't want to be playing catch-up football for the whole year. You just want to play the games that you think are winnable so that they won't haunt you in the back end of the season. And I think Whitehorse have just come off really bad to start the season, which is really concerning. But, you know, Andrew Haying's a good fella, so I know that he would do.
It just might take a bit of time to get going.
Yeah, it takes time. Like we saw Ferntree go last year, 0-6, and I think they won the next 6 games or something like that in a row. So it takes time.
Yeah, so that's an interesting game to watch. Hopefully just a bit of an improvement from them. We're going to take another break, and then when we're back, we'll be introducing the full call team for today's game between Boronia and Waverley Blues. You're listening to the Eastland Match of the Round.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in, because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Boronia Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Tormore Reserve for the Boronia versus Waverley Blues Match of the Round, the Eastland Match of the Round, streaming on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM and also Facebook. I believe our YouTube, actually, it's our Facebook stream that seems to be down at the moment. So apologies for that inconvenience. But thanks for joining us this afternoon. A massive clash, 2 undefeated sides going head-to-head. The Waverley Blues coming up a division, been phenomenal. They've won all 3 games and they play Boronia, who a lot of us has picked as the premiership favourite this season. So should be an absolute cracker this afternoon. And I'm joined here for the first time this afternoon. Jared Beanland, back in the calling chair. You had a few games early last season, then went off to Europe for a bit, and You're back
No
today,
regrets.
and I'm sure you're looking forward to it. Two sides you got to see live in action last year.
Yeah, absolutely. G'day, Ryan, and to the listeners, of course. Great to be back in the van, of course, for the EFNL. I'm very keen to see both of these teams out there. I called Waverley Blues a couple times last year. Always a very exciting match. It's always entertaining when they take the park. I'm very impressed with how they've been able to parlay what they were able to do last year into a new division, and of course Boronia, maintaining a solid spot at the top of the or towards the top of the Division 2 ladder. Also very impressive. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how these two sides play out against each other.
Absolutely, and also joining us for the first time this afternoon, Wayne Brescia, who'll be in the special comments chair today again, and it's fantastic to have you back. And I'm sure you're looking, very excited for this game with your two nephews running on the park for Boronia. I'm sure it's a big thing for you to be able to call them.
Yeah, it is, Ryan. And look, it's really good. It'd probably be only one of the very few times that I'll probably ever get a chance to do it. And hopefully today for Zach and Max, they acquit themselves very well. But by and large, though, Ryan, this game is a really, really good game set down for decision this afternoon. I sort of feel that I look at Waverley Blues. They've made 5 changes from last week. They've brought in 3 of their key movers back. And they're very much a running side, whereas Boronia, I think, as Matt Clark has enunciated, that they're still a bit of a work in progress. And the thing is, what I like about this game is the fact that Heathmont made Boronia work for the win last weekend and have made the form look good with a big victory over Ringwood, who we highly rate. And then you look at Waverley Blues with those 3 players that were out last week, taking on a fellow finalist from last year in East Burwood, and they had to work for 3 quarters before they got the game on their terms. And I think that sets this game up beautifully for the afternoon. And I think this is really a good litmus test early on for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they will match up pretty well against each other. And the Waverley Blues, I always had really high expectations this season because we saw what East Burwood did last year coming up a division. They didn't win the flag, East Burwood, and yet they won their first 5 games of that season, played in a preliminary final. Compare that to the Waverley Blues when they went up last season. I mean, they were much more dominant side, and obviously they've come up and done a similar thing, winning the first 3, and they're going to be certainly a finals contender. And if you knock off Boronia today, if they can do that, suddenly you really start to put some respect on the name, because it's been a great start for them. Also joining us today is Paul Uconi, back in the stats centre. Mate, no, I've forgotten your stats sheet today. I hope you've been able to create something up yourself before we start, but welcome back to the team.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm working on it. It should be a great contest today. We hope so. But 2 great sides. Boronia, one of the premiership contenders, and Waverley Blues coming up from Division 3. I reckon it'll be a close one today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at, let's touch on Boronia first. We'll go into both sides here. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left in the reserves game. At the moment, Boronia 11-3, 69 to the Waverley Blues, 5-4, 34 in the reserves game. But touching on that, that's a statement to their depth. And you look at their side now, they still haven't got Mitch Mellis in the side. There's Hannon comes back in. Fletcher Duke and Dylan Dowd come back out. But about 5, 6, maybe 7 blokes in this side right now could easily be playing senior footy, and that's probably a testimony of what they've done at the club. And it's become a destination place. It's been a big off-season.
Well, it is, because Dylan Dower, obviously, as Matt Clark said, right, he could have played him off a run with roll off the bench like he did last week, but decided that Dylan needed that 4 quarters of football. And I've noticed with interest out there this afternoon that he's been amongst Boronia.
Oh, he'll have 30, 40 touches in it. Just I haven't been watching much of the game, but just knowing his level of standard when he comes back to a 2s game, that's the sort of performance he can put up.
Well, I can tell you now, he's been slaying them all afternoon. He's just getting possession after possession, and you can tell with those good players because they know where to run to, know where the ball is. And they're able to, and they think a lot quicker than what they do when they're playing at the senior levels, and that helps bring the other players into the contest. I think you're right. Also, I think one guy that Boronia will also welcome back is, like I said, 6'5" guys just don't grow on trees. And
No.
Jaden Collins, when he comes back in, I'll be interested.
Yeah, he's another one. You forget just that the amount of talent that's still not out there at the moment.
I was just going to say, Ryan, do you think Matt will he run Mellis and Collins through the twos and give them a run? Or will he, or do you reckon-
you don't put Mitch Mellis in the twos.
No. It's sort of like, I don't know, do you call it an insult?
It's like, you know,
a bit of disrespect, isn't
there's,
it?
There's just some players
That'd be
you
like-
can't imagine seeing them.
That'd probably be like Vermont bringing
Robbie Ross.
No, Matty Gregg back from injury and playing him in the Magoos, mate. He probably kicked 25.
I do remember, and this is going back years ago, I do remember Nathan Buckley coming back through Williamstown when he had a hamstring injury.
That's a bit of a throwback. Was that 07 or something about there?
Yeah.
I'm sure you, as a Collingwood fan, you know that sort of thing. But
I'm just having a look at Paul's thing. I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you, Paul. I'm going to actually make you a stat sheet, and I'll send it to Ryan. He can send it through to you for printing.
Brash, I have one. I cannot find it on my
I'll fix it
on
for
my
you.
desk, and that's on me. But their opponent today has really impressed me, and we talked about the way they've gone about it. 3 wins. They had that extra game on Good Friday where they torched Mulgrave in the end. They were the Lions were never in it, and maybe that's sends a couple of question marks about where Mulgrave are at the moment. But I think it's more credit to the way the Waverley Blues played. And similar to Boronia, they've had a lot of ins and outs where they've got guys sitting out due to injury, which has been a testimony that they've still been able to win and win quite comfortably. Last week was their biggest test so far, and they got the job done. You looked at when East Burwood had the win, they didn't use it. I think they kicked 0 goals 6 or something in that first quarter, and then when Waverley Blues had their chance to make an impact on the game, they did. I think they were even trailing at some stage during the afternoon and fought back in the last quarter to win. So it's a big statement from them and guys like Chris Diggle, who have come back in, or come into the side from other clubs. As Tom said, it's the big thing is the experience and the leadership that they bring, because overall, when you look at the side, as he mentioned, it's a very young team, and I mean, someone like a Langford who comes back in the side sort of bumps that age average up. But you look at some of these names, a lot of them are pretty early on in their career, which is a great thing for the club going forward, is that you do have guys about to come into their prime.
I think also, too, there's one player that we need to talk about, too, right? And I remember a game that we watched at Donvale. Williamson. Now, this ground is actually tailor-made for Josh Williamson, because we watched when he played at Donvale, he leads up the ground, he's good on the lead. He also can take a good contested grab. He's a lovely kick for goal, but when he doesn't take the grab, he's got players around, and he's still also very good at ground level and still managing to bring other players into the contest.
Yeah, and I think that's one of their biggest strengths. Obviously, you look at their leading goal scorers this year. Matt Perry's come inside and kicked 9. Williamson with 5, and then Walker, Muhammad, Steele, Rufus, Hale. They're all guys that can hit the scoreboard as well, and that's one of their biggest strengths, is that you don't need to rely on just one person. And they brought him back in the club, and it was a fantastic inclusion last year, and obviously it served them very well, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely, and Williamson, as you've said, he's great at ground level. He's got that agility. I think he can play as a small almost if needed. But he will be the big focus for Waverley Blues today. I'm not sure if you've mentioned it on the coverage just yet, but Matt Perry is coming out of the side due to injury.
Perry's out, is he?
Yeah, Perry is out.
Is that just a late
change?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And who's in, Josh?
That'll be Joe Facey.
Oh, yeah, number 14.
Yep, number 14.
Yeah, I remember Joe.
Yep. So Williamson is going to have to, shoulder a little bit more of that load. Maybe we'll see Playstead pushing forward and taking a bit less of the ruck duties. We've got Sam Johnson coming into the side this game. He'll potentially be up in the ruck for Nick Perry, who also came out due to injury after last game. And if we remember, Sam Johnson, the hero of the Reserves Grand Final last year against Warren Diet. Very interested to see what he can produce.
Yeah, well, it was a massive. It was probably game of the year the way that finished with the double extra time, was it, in the after the grand final?
Like
Trent and Will were there and lost their voices on that one. That was a crazy finish. And just repeating the final score at the reserves game, it's you know what?
You know what?
As soon as I was about to read it off the board, they've taken it off. So never mind that. But Boronia did win quite comfortably in the end, which is again, as we talked about, a big thing for their depth. And I'm sure there'll be a few guys there putting their hand up again in future weeks to get back into the senior side, which is a hard thing to do, hard thing to get into at the moment. So a couple of outs from both sides, but it's still you look at the two lineups, and there's a lot of talent on both sides, and I'm certainly interested to see how they match up this afternoon. Let's jumping on some of their recruits that Boronia have brought in. We haven't even really spoken about Begley yet, and pre-season it was all that we were talking about because it is such a big inclusion. But what do you expect from him, Brash, today? Obviously, he's, as Clarkey said, he helps him out off the field as much as he does on the field. And I think coming down to this level, considering he's played at the top level at AFL, he's played VFL with Frankston, I think this is just a great chance to enjoy his football, play well, but enjoy it without the sort of the pressures of what elite sport can do.
Obviously, yeah, exactly. I agree with you. This is a perfect opportunity for him to actually go out there, as Matty Clark has alluded to, which all he wants his side to do is go out there and play with abandon today. Right?
Absolutely.
Let's take the game on. Let's see where we're at. Let's play this new game style that I'm trying to instill into this side. And as he recognised, they had to change their ways.
Absolutely. And just as I'm sure if we've got the camera on us, Dane Romano there being chaired off after 150th game for the Hawks, which is a fantastic effort. That's and good to see him get a bit of credit there, getting chaired off. And shortly we're going to have a bit of a ceremony. So when that does happen, we will obviously remain quiet and give the respect to exactly right. So if you are listening on Radio Eastern and don't have the footage on, that will be why we don't have any audio at that time. But before
don't go away though.
Yeah, don't leave. Certainly not. Before we get into it, we might as well touch on tips this afternoon before we get to the boys on the boundary who will be out there shortly. But Paul, how do you see the game playing out? Obviously, the Waverley Blues have played that extra game, so they're 3-0, but both sides undefeated. Good test for both sides.
I think so. I think coming to Boronia will be a great challenge for Waverley, but then again for Boronia it'll be a great test playing against Waverley, who last year obviously won the flag and got promoted from Division 3, but here at Tormore Reserve, I reckon Boronia will get up by about 9 points.
Brash?
Look, this is, like I said, there's so many permutations to this game, and I think, both sides have put a compelling case for victory this afternoon. I'm going to go with Boronia, but I'm going to go, and I think the margin's going to be small, a goal, Ryan. I reckon there's only a goal in it.
Good call, Jared.
Yeah, I think I'll follow on with that. Boronia for me as well, probably a couple of goals. My big question today is whether or not Waverley Blues can stand up to the pressures that a top Division 2 team can bring. Whether or not that clean ball movement is going to remain consistent, whether or not they'll be able to deliver it as efficiently into their forward 50.
Well, the thing is, Jared, they've already passed one test.
Yep, East Balwyn.
This is another test for them today.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I just think that, like I said, it's a different ground for them. The ground that they play on it is smaller than this.
To the Waverley Blues' credit,
yeah.
Did you want to?
No, you keep going.
To the Waverley Blues' credit, last week they were trying conditions, and a good situation perhaps for East Burwood to make sure that they can put the pressure on. But Waverley Blues was still able to find the scores when they needed it. So maybe those skills don't come into question as much. Perhaps in this game as they were last game, but I'm still, I'm still pretty bullish about Boronia. I think they'll be able to control the game just a little bit more, maybe a little bit more consistency, and Waverley Blues won't be able to find those running waves as they are able to, or as they were able to back in Division 3.
Boys on the boundary there, we've got Blake Tennant and Brett Beston. Your tips this afternoon?
Down here on the boundary. I was umming and ahhing all week about this one because it's one of those ones that's quite hard to call, but probably Boronia, as good a start as Waverley Blues have had to this season. I think Boronia at home. I think they'll get up in a close one, probably by about a kick, something like that. And the medal today, are they doing a medal afterwards, aren't they?
They are doing a medal.
Okay,
There you go. He's added an
yep.
extra element.
So, and I'm going to throw in Jake Mellis. Sorry, not Jake Mellis. That wasn't who I picked. Just give me a moment. I'll just go down the list.
Get baited,
just
Jake.
talk amongst yourself. Josh Begley I've picked for the medal
Jake,
today.
Sorry? You gave him the medal and then you just took it away from him.
Hey, Besto.
Yes.
Good to have you back, mate.
Thanks, guys. Really nice to be back. Here's Blake.
Hey, Blakey.
G'day, listeners, yet again. Yes.
Still.
So I think I'm going to go for the home team. I think Boronia have just been playing some good footy at the moment. I know they had a Heathmont gave them a run for their money, but I think if you want to go for both sides, let's say if Waverley do get up, I do like the best on ground medalist in the grand final, Ben Turner. He's pretty much been the general for Waverley Blues the last couple of times. And as well, if you want to look for superstars as well, I think Luke Hannon is up there as well. Contested ball winner, as Matt Clark touched on. But if you want to touch about superstars in the competition, you can't go past Josh Begley, boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the medal.
I think that's 5 tips for Boronia, so to be a point of difference, I'll go the Waverley Blues, because I'm on the fence here. I'm not 100% sure which way this game will go yet. Obviously, these sides haven't played each other for a while.
Brian, there's another player for Waverley Blues that always seems to be a bit of a barometer, and he's been around for a long time. He's had his injuries throughout those years, but Daniel Playstead, very, very good player. When he's on top and running on top of the ground,
they look good, don't they?
He's as good a follower, right, that you could ask for, because he just covers the ground, and his ruck work when he's on fire is in really good nick as well.
And with Matt Perry out now,
yeah,
like big more of a load for
big
Playstead.
afternoon for him, and especially with Josh Hannon, who's been phenomenal so far in the ruck for Boronia. He's picked up 2 Team of the Weeks so far, so a great achievement for him, and he'll be one to watch out for today as both sides look to be lining up here for the pre-game ceremony. It is Anzac Day weekend, as we said.
Do you reckon they play Williamson at full forward and Jared Lake gets the job?
That's what I was hypothesising before the game with Basto.
Because he's got the mobility Lake to run with him, right? And they're evenly matched in size, so I think that'd be a good matchup.
Yeah. And Jared Lake has had another hot start to the season.
I think too. The other most important thing is, I think Boronia and whoever wins those clearances and stoppages is going to be really important.
Absolutely. So we will go down to ground level here in just a moment for the pre-game ceremony. Both sides linking up, and it's been a fantastic thing that all clubs have done.
Grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.
lest we forget, a moment of reflection. We're just about ready for the start of the game. Match of the round, Eastland Boronia versus Waverley Blues, as we've mentioned. The two undefeated sides will be underway quite shortly. I believe we've all done our tips now, but it's obviously a big test for the Waverley Blues. Heading here to Boronia, should be a pretty interesting game, boys. But any last thoughts before we get stuck into this?
Oh, look, I just think the way Matty Clark was articulating at the during pre-match, Ryan and gents, was the fact that it's a new game plan for Boronia this year, and he's given them carte blanche, right, to basically play that way this afternoon and try and develop this game plan to tackle the second half of the season in a much more aggressive mindset. What better chance this afternoon than trying it out against a side that likes to play that way himself?
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a much more different Boronia this year than we are seeing a different Waverley Blues this year. From what I saw from the coverage of the video of their match against East Burwood just over the week. Waverley Blues look very familiar in the way they're trying to play their game style. Very sort of like switching, running in waves, making sure they're opening up the ground and testing teams' defences. Boronia playing a little bit differently this year. A bit more speed on the game and also a bit more control as well.
And Blake and Vesto down at ground level. How are the conditions? Looks perfect out there. Any wind?
There's no breeze at all, mate, to be honest. It's very, very still down here. The ground conditions are fantastic. I haven't been right out into the centre square area, but the ground's nice and firm. And there'll be, I think we're going to have an open, fast game today. No excuses. The conditions are perfect.
Beautiful. And we don't always get that here at Tormore. It's usually a bit of a wind tunnel the times that we have come here. So no excuses today. Perfect conditions. A perfect day of football ahead. Top two sides in Division 2 about to go head-to-head in round 3. Anzac Day action.
And looks like Boronia are kicking to the Boronia Road end this afternoon first, with Waverley Blues going to the scoreboard end.
Yep, just got to be looking out for any matchups that stand out. Looks like Strongman is going to Robertson right from the get-go. I don't think that's any surprise at all.
Big task ahead.
Yep.
Robson's certainly been really impressive.
Zach Brash has got the big job on Josh Williamson this afternoon, so that's going to be a big job for him.
And we're underway here at Tormore Reserve. Out of the clearance, it was Begley kicking it down to the Boronia Road end for the Hawks. Bit of a skirmish there at centre half forward. Little kick away there by Noops. Finds the hands of a teammate. It's Robson versus Strongman there. Strongman got the better of that one initially. Picked up by Hare. Snap around the body. And it was just the one behind to open up the scoring for the Boronia Hawks here at Tormore Reserve. And we're just waiting for the ball to return. And there's a quick number change here. Angus Kramer is wearing 33. Diggle is wearing 28. So for those watching on the YouTube stream, don't get confused.
And what was that? Kramer 33.
Kramer 33.
Waverley Blues bring the ball back into play. Short kick there finds Walker. Best on ground last week in their win against East Burwood. Goes down the line on the far side. Kick looks to be a turnover. Going back inside 50. Here's a chance now for the Hawks through Hare. Puts towards the top of the square, standing under it. Couldn't quite take the mark there, Strongman. Ball hits the ground, did well to recover it though, kicks it out, but it is straight into the hands of Boronia here. So Bolton, the experienced player, goes inside 50 for the Hawks again. Mark not taken. They've done well though. They've got some numbers around the ball here. Socket towards goal and just hits the post.
That was Gilo.
A missed opportunity there, but they're attacking early. The two behinds to the Waverley Blues yet to score on the Bendigo scoreboard. Gone 2 minutes into this game. Let's go to Paul Uconi thanks to car sales in the Stat Centre.
They've had a good start, Boronia. They've already got the 4 inside 50s to their name.
So it looks like Sapanchi to take the kick in here under a little bit of pressure. Kick might have been affected there. Bounces in front of his teammate who has to go hard at the body to try and recover the ball. Boronia regain possession. Good tackling, however, by the Waverley Blues as Dower was wrapped up. And the umpire will come in, throw it up there. Boronia pushing early. about to get the clearance there. It was thwarted, however. Onto it is Begley. He's trying to bust his way through. Couldn't quite do so. Noops was there as well. Couldn't get a handle on the ball. Running into space there, getting a handball into space now. And it's Burgess to scoop it up for Boronia. Kick was touched. No mark taken. Noops finding that man in space. It's now Zach Dower. Short kick into the pocket, but easily picked off there. And I think that's going to be Jack Strongman down in the back line for Waverley Blues. Or it's Sam Johnson, actually. Looks for the hand pass to Hatch. And Hatch, well, he's just turned it right over. Running into goal here for the Boronia Hawks. Oh, just cut off on the line there. That was Ryan White shooting at goal, but the Waverley Blues saved it. Now it's Sapanchi to try and exit D50 for Waverley Blues. It's come unstuck, however, there on the arc. Waverley Blues trying to fight for clean possession. They're not going to be able to get there. Burgess makes sure it goes over the line. And that's some good forward pressure for Boronia early on.
At the moment, the Boronia forwards are working extremely hard to keep the ball in there inside 50.
They've had all the ball early. The boundary throw in, falls short. Rucking his way through is Hannon. Kicks it on the boot up towards the top of the square. Waverley Blues, all the numbers down back, are able to punch that through for a minor score. Their third for the afternoon. 0-3 to Waverley Blues yet to score. 3 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
At the moment, they're having real problems getting the ball outside their defensive 50, Waverley Blues.
Yeah, they are. They're under a lot of pressure. They're just going to go down the middle with that kick from Hatch, and it looks like Mir was the key to get out of defence for Waverley Blues as he took the mark, sends it forward. This is Jared Lake, matched up against Playstead. Playstead beats him, which surprises me. Gets it into the forward line for the Waverley Blues. Scooped up there, it was Walker, but he's lost a handle on it. Boronia to try and exit defence. Well, Playstead was there again to stop that from happening. And a kick out into the forward line there, nearly marked there by Hannon. Waverley Blues keep pushing, however. Oh, Boronia, cool heads in defence. He's just rammed himself into the post there, just for the one behind. So a rush behind for the Waverley Blues. Their opening score on the board with nearly 5 minutes gone in this first quarter.
So Boronia to clear it out now. The kick in, Harry Burgess. He's got the head strapped.
What's he expecting to get a whack, does he?
So Burgess to bring it back into play. Goes long down the line. Mark taken here for the Waverley Blues. They'll have a chance to send it back.
It's Johnson.
There's, I think that's Sam Mear. He's gone forward. Boronia numbers around the ball. Can't quite take the mark. Begley steadies a second before he kicks it forward. Down the line finds Hannon. He's had a hot start to the year. And he'll be one to look out for this afternoon as they keep the ball moving forward. And on the wing, there's Brasher of the Max variety. But turned over here for the Waverley Blues if they can clear this up. Hannon in it again as the ball trickles out. We'll get a stoppage in just a moment. So we go to Paul Uconi in the Stats Centre, thanks to car sales.
After Boronia had the first inside 50s, Waverley Blues seem to have turned the tide for the moment. They've recorded the last 3 forward 50 entries.
So Waverley Blues here with the ball now caught in a tackle and holding the ball. Free kick here going the way of the Hawks. Josh Begley will take it. Great rundown tackle. He plays on immediately, almost gets caught, but his hand pass to White is good. And the kick, though, turned over now through Sam Hale. And he'll look to switch it towards the broadcast side. Out in front of Mohammed. Picks it up cleanly. Takes his time. He's caught in a tackle by Robertson. And the Boronia forwards swoop down on him. They've got some players out here. Noops gets past one, puts it on the right boot. First goal of the day, Nick Noops. And Boronia on the board, 1-3-9, lead the Waverley Blues, one behind, 6.5 minutes gone in this first quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, we're able then, Boronia, to create a mismatch on numbers. And Noops' beautiful sidestep runs into an open goal and just caresses it through for a major. That's good play there by Boronia.
Classy player.
And you can tell Begley's already having a bit of an influence. Just his time and influence on the contest, showing a lot of poise, not getting flustered in his delivery of the ball.
Yeah, Waverley Blues do seem to be getting a bit flustered in their delivery so far. Good pressure put on them by Boronia, especially the forwards. I've enjoyed that. We'll get to Paul Uconi in the Stats Centre in a second, but we get a clearance here for Boronia. And the kick goes forward. Over the top goes Strongman. Good punch away. It fell for the advantage of his teammates, and now Waverley Blues with that familiar linking up through McNamara. Langford gets the kick inside forward 50. It's a 3-on-1 situation for Boronia, however. They should be able to clear it up there. He wasn't able to get a handle on the ball, though, was Flanagan. So that puts Boronia under a lot of pressure. Jared Lake was in there throwing himself at it. Williamson for Waverley Blues was wrapped up there. What was the stat we had from Paul Yukonian?
The clearances. Boronia are winning the stoppages at the moment out of the middle, and they're on top in the clearance statistic 5-0. So they're on top in that stat early.
So we've just had a holding the ball call there in Waverley Blues' forward line. It was Jake Mellis for Boronia to take it. And now they're going to work their way through Harvey Chin to try and escape the defensive line for Boronia. Chin's kick was a little low there for Lake. He gets tackled and the ball goes over the line.
I believe that was Begley. I think
yeah, it was.
who certainly made an impact early. Looking for him around the grounds. There's the ball brought back into play here, right in front of us, in front of the Boronia coaches. No one gets a clear possession yet. Brasher picks it up, hand pass off the Chin, puts it on the boot, gets it going forward. It's going to be a turnover here through Fresher. He'll send it back inside 50 towards the direction of Mohammed. Went over the back. Burgess here, pushes him aside and gives time for Bolton to clear up. And now they exit through Ryan White, switch towards the far wing, towards a boundary in front of Nick Noobs. Got a couple to beat. And this time it is Waverley Blues with the numbers that are win out, and they go forward now. And they have a chance here to enter their forward 50. Up towards the top of the square. Boronia got some numbers down there at the back. Sitting there is Chin. Grabbing it first is Waverley, but caught in a tackle. Place it, handball out. And the kick on shot on goal there is marked on the line by Burgess, who quickly gets his handball out. And they're out now towards us on the broadcast side. Picking up here. Here's a chance through Hare. Kicks it onto the boot. Down the line in the direction of Hannon. Used his body well. Took the mark. He's got a player open, going inside 50. Here's Edwards. Runs onto it, snaps it on the body in the direction of Robertson. If it stays in, does. Robertson can't quite pick it up, though, and it's a boundary throw-in inside 50 for the Hawks. They lead by 8 points. We're coming up to about 10 minutes gone in this first term. Down to boundary side, thanks to Tobin Brothers.
Yeah,
Brett Beston.
One thing that has been quite noticeable, boys, has been the transition and the speed of transition from Boronia out of defence onto attack. They look a lot quicker and very sharp in that area of the game.
Yeah, it's impressive by Boronia so far. Almost beating Waverley Blues at their own game at the moment. The tap went straight down to Mir from this throw-in. It looks like it's going to be another ball up. So we're out right half forward for Boronia. They're pushing hard once again. They're 1-3-9 to Waverley Blues, just the one behind, halfway through this first quarter. Ball goes up again. Waverley Blues attempting to get the clearance, and they do so now. So the kick down the line, it's aimed for Ton Steele. He's got a man to beat there in Flanagan. Flanagan does well. Ton back onto it. Jared Lake was there. It's desperate stuff there. Bodies go flying. Mohammed is the lone survivor. He stands up, gives it off to Duck. High kick by Duck inside Waverley Blues' forward 50. Williamson was the target. He gathers up just before it gets across the line. But I think the tackle made sure of it. And it's going to be a throw in there in the forward pocket for the Waverley Blues, just underneath the scoreboard. So we're starting to see a little bit more of that attack from the Waverley Blues so far. Oh, Hannon just takes it out of the ruck in a show of strength. Sends it down the line for Boronia. 2-on-1 situation, however, for Hare. He just gets a handball out into a man in space there. He's done well to avoid trouble. To get the kick away, down onto the wing. Waverley Blues, oh, they just gave it up through the handball there to Luke Hannon. He kicks it down the line, but the man playing in front there was... That's going to be Turner, the general in the back line for Waverley Blues. Played very well throughout the final series, I seem to remember. Turner's picked out,
grand final.
Yeah, he's picked out Hale. Gets the handball off to Strongman, and he gets the kick down towards Steele, but it's going to fade harmlessly over the boundary line just in front of Boronia's interchange benches.
I think Matt Clark will be happy with the way that his players are actually harassing Waverley Blues players, and they're not getting clean possession or that run at the moment.
You're listening to Wayne Brasher in the special comments, thanks to Tobin Brothers. This ball brought back into play Outside Waverley's 50, grabbing it out the ruck there was play set. Handball off to Steele. Caught in a tackle, holding the ball there by Jake Mellis. Great pressure from the Hawks. It's been an important thing for the side so far as we go boundary side. Blake. No, sorry, to Brett Beston.
Guys, I've just seen Harvey Chin come past me, and he's in the hands of the trainer at the moment, so I'm not quite sure what the issue is. He looks a little bit sore, so we'll just keep an eye on that in the next 5 minutes.
So Hales kick inside 50, falls right into the hands of Jared Lake, a reliable defender, team of the year last year. Once again, he's kicked to Ryan White, and they look to go to switch it to the far side. Mark taken here by Burgess. The captain goes down the line to Begley. They've linked up well, and it's very quick ball movement. In the middle of the ground there is Stanley. And they'll play on through back to White, and White will launch it inside 50. Hannon's there, punched away from him. Ball hits the ground. Fairchild picks it up cleanly, gets his handball out to a teammate there in Begley. He puts it towards goal. How's the bounce? Rolling, not quite, and just socket over the line there by Ben Turner for a minor score. Boronia 1-4-10 lead the Waverley Blues, one behind. They've gone 13 minutes in the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Joe Beanland.
Alrighty, so Waverley Blues to try and build from defence once more.
I don't think Tom Langford would be very happy with the way Boronia ran that ball out of the back line. There was no pressure for at least 100 metres there.
Plenty of space.
And they're using the space here at Tormore pretty well, Boronia, as they generally do. The kick out of defence was cut off by Cooper Duncanson. First time I think we've called him today. And his kick inboard reaches Jared Lake, who's pushed up a little bit here to assist with the rebound into forward 50. So here we go. And the mark's been taken there from the kick by Lake. And it looks like it's been taken by Josh Begley.
You could tell when Begley went for the ball, he had his name all over it. He was never going to miss that mark.
So Begley to go back, see if he can slot Boronia's second goal. Of course, their first was kicked by Noops after an impressive sidestep earlier in the quarter. Josh Begley, former AFL player, now playing for Boronia. He's come in, he's made sure of it. That didn't look like it was ever going to miss. And Boronia get their second on the board here with 14.5 minutes gone in the first quarter.
He's starting to become a bit of a headache here for Langford, because I don't know if they've got a player that can run with him for the afternoon, because he's strong, he's mobile, and he's running up and down the ground and creating opportunities not only off the back line but also on the forward line.
I don't think we saw too much of Waverley Blues getting challenged by a star predominant midfielder during their days in Division 3. So this could be a new challenge for Tom Langford and his men.
So Boronia with the first two this afternoon, 2-4-16 to the Waverley Blues, one behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. As Langford in the middle is caught in a tackle right away there by Max Brasher. He's had a good start to this game too.
And that's the thing with Boronia, if they can split 50-50 on the clearance and stoppages this afternoon, they're going to have a clear advantage.
So out of the ruck here. Get another stoppage. Ball going nowhere. As we go to Paul Uconi in the stats centre, thanks to car sales.
The tackle count has been high from both sides, so both sides are bringing the pressure on early in this game. Waverley Blues lead in that department 11-9.
So here we go with the Hawks again. They were able to cut off it. Going forward here, here's a chance. Through the hands of Gilo, passed it off, and now they go inside 50. Robertson was flying at it from behind. And the mark there taken,
it was Hale.
By Hale.
Gee, that's a gutsy mark there by Hale, because he was backing into the pack.
Absolutely, very courageous as his short kick finds his teammate.
McNamara, I believe.
The Waverley Blues just slowing things down a little bit. McNamara goes down to the far wing. It's cut off here. Grabbing it there was Phillips, passed it off. Hannon down to the middle to Stanley. Passes it off to Burgess, caught in the tackle right away. Umpire says play on. We're going to get another stoppage here on the far wing. Coming up to 17 minutes gone in this first term, thanks to the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. And Paul Uconi in the Stats Centre.
Both sides have been good in the intercept marks department this first quarter. Waverley Blues have taken 5 intercept marks to Boronia 4. So it looks like they're both sides are getting the man behind the ball to contribute to those intercept marks.
Which is interesting because it doesn't seem like we've had as high scoring a contest as we might have expected so far anyway. Game could open up. as Boronia attempt to do that now from that clearance. Phillips was there, but it's come to Gilo. He's handed it off. Looks like it's Begley once again. Oh, he's dangerous, but he's just missed that one. And so...
I think they're a little bit behind on the scoreboard. I've got it at 2-5 to behind.
Yes, correct. The scoreboard at the ground is different at the moment. Just around the grounds, Mitcham jumped out to a bit of the lead over Montrose, 3-1-19. Montrose yet to score as Waverley Blues exit their back half. Mir with the handball over the top. And they've just been under a lot of pressure here. Bounced it while it was caught, Langford did. And Max Brasher will take the kick. He's holding the ball there. Short kick over the top. Finds his teammate. They've just worked the ball really well so far in this opening term. As they go down the line, back inside 50 again. Turner's standing under it, but it was Hannon who took it cleanly. He'll put it onto the right boot towards the almost the top of the square. No one was able to take the mark though, so we'll get a stoppage inside 50 here for Boronia.
Once
and
again,
lead by 16 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I'll keep re-adding, but Boronia are working extremely hard to keep that ball inside 50.
Absolutely is a hot contested contest here. Paul Uconi, Stat Centre, thanks to car sales.
Adding on to the inside 50s, Boronia have recorded 12 inside 50s in the first quarter to 7 of Waverley Blues.
So Facey from that clearance there for the Waverley Blues. He had the run. He gave it to Sam Mear, who's kicked it down the ground. He's found Williamson, who's worked his way up. Williamson, well, he's got an option there in Langford, but Langford was beaten very clearly in the air by Noops. It was a bit of a height advantage over the coach of the Waverley Blues there, Noops.
Started well too, Noops.
He has. And his kick just faded harmlessly over the boundary line. Let's go to Ryan in the score centre.
Just around the ground, Surrey Park, big first quarter lead, 7-2-44 to Churnside Park, 2 behinds. Sylvan have jumped out of the gates, 3-3-21 lead Warrandyte, 1-2-8, while Whitehorse lead Coldstream, 3-1-19 to 1-1-7.
So it was Boronia there with the clearance. Fairchild got it to, I think that was Edwards. High ball onto the wing. No mark taken there by the Waverley Blues. They nearly controlled it, but lost handle on it there as it was Begley. Got it to a teammate there, and that was very easy to find Robertson in space, in the forward line. He had the break on his opponent, Strongman, and took a mark pretty easily. Bit of an angle to contest with here for Robertson, but you'd expect him to be up to the task.
So Pansy drops an easy mark, creates a loose ball. Boronia's got right onto that and got the loose ball, ran forward of the ball and managed to hit Fairchild right on the chest.
And so we'll see the result of that as Robertson comes in. And that looks straight. That is straight. Boronia get out to a handy lead here. They're going to be 3-5-23 to just the 1 behind for the Waverley Blues. We are 20 minutes gone in this first quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's go to Paul Uconi in the Car Sales Stat Centre.
Yes, that was their second mark inside 50 for the quarter and their 13th inside 50 for the quarter. They really needed that goal too, Boronia. I know they've had about 3 or 4 rush behinds, but 3-5-23.
So ball back in the middle. Brasher there in a tackle. Big news out at Mullen Reserve. Vermont 6-3-39 to Norwood, 3 behinds. Big handy lead there. A bit of a shock from all of us as the ruck duties there by Hannon. And the ball socket forward. Waverley Blues, though, able to do well to get it to the far wing. Grabbing it here, the Blues. They go through Hale, going forward, linking up. Inside 50, Jared Lake tried to reach out for it. Out the back here, here's a chance for them. Their first of the afternoon. Not quite. The shot on goal missed there by Williamson. Their second score, just the 2 behinds to Boronia, 3-5-23 as we go boundary side with Brett Beston.
Just an update on Harvey Chen, boys. I think they're going to try and get him back on. He's had his, looks like his quad or his hammy quite largely taped, and he's been in the hands of the trainer for the last few minutes. So I think they're probably going to roll the dice. Not sure how he'll go, but probably get back out there in the next couple of minutes.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks to Tobin Brothers.
So on the kick in there for Boronia, they found, I believe this is Edwards. He's going to switch it across the ground. Duncanson was the target there. He made a good fist of it against Kramer, but Facey scooped it up. He's going to return it, receive it here again from the teammate. Gives it back to him. It was Hale. He gets it to Muhammad. Tumbling kick inside forward 50 was never, ever going to affect anything. And it was an easy intercept mark taken by Burgess. So it's going to be Boronia on the rebound. Mark taken by Luke Flanagan. Gives it off to Edwards, who's been pushing back this game. I liked him. I like the look of him up forward against Heathmont last week, but seems he can play anywhere. Boronia get the kick into the centre of the ground, and it's just a complete pile on there, as it was Max Brasher. Couldn't really do much with it.
Waverley Blues are going into the inside 50, but they just can't hit a target at the moment.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue at the moment. Duck just lost their hand on it, gave it up to Kramer, however, and it's going to be a contest down there. Oh, it's just fallen out the back. This is where Williamson is dangerous, but Flanagan was good. He was good under pressure for only a second, and Langford pounced on the ball and kicked the goal. So the coach gets a coach's special on the board for Waverley Blues. Finally, they get that goal late in this first quarter.
Well, they needed it because they've been outplayed in the first quarter so far by Boronia. It was only a mistake there by the Boronia defence in Flanagan. He probably should have gone towards the boundary line instead of going back into the midfield when he took possession of the ball.
Much better there from the Waverley Blues. They trail 1-2-8 to Boronia 3-5-23 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We've gone 23 and a half minutes into this first quarter. Around the grounds, Rowville 4-2-26 lead Balwyn 1 straight 6 as ball back in the middle. Chance here for Waverley maybe to get another late one. Over the top there, the handball from White. Got to his teammate there in Fairchild, kicking it inside 50. Finds Luke Hannon. And whether or not he takes the shot from here, looks like he may go back and have a shot. Back in the side this week. A bit of a minor injury last week, a bit of a setback, but had a really strong game against the Basin in round 1. And he'll look for Boronia's 4th goal of the afternoon. Hannon comes inside 50. A kick on its way. It's going to fall short. At the back is Robertson. Strong hands, and he will play on immediately here and put it through for the Hawks 4th. 4-5-29 to Waverley Blues 1-1-7 or 1-2-8, apologies. 24 and a half minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and I'm sure Tom won't be too happy with that. A mark out the back.
No, and the fact that once again, the way Boronia were able to move that ball, their forwards are creating massive problems for the Waverley Blues defence. They seem a bit undermanned in the defence at the moment, Waverley Blues. The strength and the tall players of Boronia are really starting to come to the fore.
It looks like the defence is starting to show a bit of that Division 3 sort of, you know, they were going well there, but now up into Division 2, it's a bit of a struggle. So it's Begley with the clearance there, finds Hannon with the kick. Sorry, that's White. He didn't take the mark, it wasn't 15, so he gave it up. Here's Waverley Blues' chance to pounce. They've had a good link of handballs, a chain of handballs there. It ended with Rufus, and his target was Playstead, and a free kick's been given away against towards Daniel Playstead. It was against Jared Lake.
Yeah, I think I think it just clipped him around the ears there by mistake.
Yeah, well,
it was just over the shoulders. So Playstead, experienced player, they'll need him to kick this goal.
Yeah, this might take a little bit of the sting out of that last goal for Robertson. Waverley Blues definitely hoping to close the gap a little bit before quarter time. Daniel Playstead has the chance to do that. He's let fly with a big kick, but it faded right. Just the one behind to the Waverley Blues in the shadows of quarter time.
1-3-9, the Waverley Blues trail Boronia 4-5-29. We've gone 26 minutes into this opening turn on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's Harry Burgess to bring the ball back into play for the Hawks. Sends it long past their defensive 50. Grabbing it there is Stanley. Quick handball over the top to Mellis. And they go down the ball. Look how quickly they've moved this. And here's a chance for Nick Noobs. He'll send it towards goal from end to end. Is out of bounds on the full. But you saw just how quickly they moved that then.
Wasted opportunity though.
So out of bounds will give Waverley Blues the ball back. Can't afford to give up another goal in this opening term. They trail by 20 points at the moment. Ball kicked out, falls into the hands of Hannon.
He's played well.
He's had a busy first quarter. He's been on fire early this season. He'll kick it inside 50 for the Hawks. Flying at it is Robertson out the back and almost taken there by Fairchild. Must have come up another hand. Handballed it out into space. Waverley Blues a chance to escape their back 50 as they go down the line in the direction of Williamson. Holds the mark. Here's a chance now for the Waverley Blues. Williamson takes a bounce, sends it inside 50 to a one-on-one place at it versus Lake. Lake did well, front position. Picked it up cleanly, handballed out to Begley. Now through Dower, just got his kick away. And he will earn himself a free kick here for holding the man. Going towards Zach Dower. 27.5 minutes gone in this opening term. So Hawks by 20 points. Thanks for joining us, whether that be through Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or the YouTube stream. I believe Facebook's still down. Someone can fact check that for us as Zach Dower will send it out their back 50 towards a pack of players. Almost there taken. It is taken there by Kramer, Angus Kramer that is. Goes inside 50. One-on-one contest again. Placed it in Lake. Placed it did well, but the Hawks have got numbers around the ball. Begley's one of them. Hand pass it off to Stanley. Back to Begley. And he's got over the top. Couldn't quite get his teammate there in Phillips. Turned over. There's a Waverley Blues now. Will a chance go forward? As they go enter the forward 50, it's a poor kick and it's straight into the hands of Ryan White. And that's it for the first term. A dominant quarter there from the Hawks, 4-5-29. We'll go in quarter time, 20 points up, leading the Waverley Blues 1-3-9. When we're back, we'll be chatting with one of the coaches. Thanks to the boys on the boundary. Thanks to Tobin Brothers. We'll be back shortly for the Eastland Match of the Round.
Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation. She was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Of Eastland Match of the Round, it is Boronia 4-5-29 leading the Waverley Blues 1-3-9. After a very strong quarter for the Hawks. Quickly just around the grounds before we do get an interview, thanks to Tobin Brothers Funerals. Kilsyth 6-3-39 lead Nutter Wadding 4-3-27, so good response there from the Lions. They're still playing well after a win last week. Jumping into Division 3, Sylvan 4-4-28 lead Warrandyte 1-2-8. That's one to keep an eye on. If Warrandyte start 0-3, that's a bit of a worry. And then Donvale 4 straight 26 compared to Ferntree Gully's 0 goals 6-6. Interesting result there in Division 1. Mitcham at quarter time 4-6-30 lead Montrose 2-1-13, while Beaconsfield 5-1-31 lead the Blues 1-3-9. Bit of a worry then again for Croydon. As we touched on earlier, Vermont 6-3-39 to Norwood, 3 behinds in a very impressive first quarter. Rowville still lead by 20 points over Balwyn. Park Orchards have a goal lead over East Ringwood. Jared Beanland, your thoughts on this game and boys as well, Wayne Brasher and Paul Uconi. A lot of work to do for the Waverley Blues. They were a bit hard to get inside, difficult going inside 50. They turned the ball over a bit, and then on the other end, Boronia's ball movement coming off the half-back line has been phenomenal.
So, I was going to say, actually, that Ferntree Gully scoreline looked a little bit reminiscent of last year. But no, you're right. Boronia has definitely been, pretty fantastic in terms of the way they've managed to put pressure on Waverley Blues. I think that's the thing that I've been focusing on.
They haven't had much
so
time,
far.
I suppose,
Yeah, exactly. It's an unfamiliar look for Waverley Blues. They've been rushed. They've not been able to get their handball chains completely down pat. There was one case throughout that quarter, I think, where Waverley Blues looked at sort of like the familiar team that we saw last year, but they're going to need to make sure they find the space and find the clean ball movement to make sure that we can see what we're familiar with.
Wayne Brasher, what's impressed you about Boronia so far in this first term?
I think their forward line's creating a few headaches. Their height is worrying Waverley Blues. Waverley Blues are struggling there. In fact, I think they're getting beaten at their own game, because I think Boronia have taken control of around the stoppages and clearances, and are getting many loose ball gets, and they're running onto the contest. There's 3 or 4 occasions where Boronia carried the ball 100 metres without anyone challenging. That worries me as well on the Waverley Blues front.
As we go boundary side, thanks to Tobin Brothers, Blake Tennant.
Yeah, just got the Waverley Blues, Scott, here. Scott, talk us through that first quarter. I know they obviously came straight at you from the get-go. Must be pretty disappointing, that quarter.
Oh, look, we knew what they were going to bring. Look, we've watched them. We've seen what they can do, with the bigger bodies they've got. This is what we want. We want a contest. We want to be challenged, and, we've seen in the first, 30 minutes what they bring and what we need to do this quarter to get back.
Yeah, definitely that two-way running from Boronia definitely killed you guys that quarter. You want to try capitalise on that second quarter to try keep it up with Boronia?
Yeah, we're just going to keep going head-to-head with them. They've got the calibre, we've got the calibre, and we're just going to take it on what we know how to play and see if we can get ourselves back in this.
No worries, mate. Enjoy the rest of the game. Back to you, boys.
Thanks to Blake Tennant there. On the boundary side, Tobin Brothers Funerals celebrating lives.
At least they're not going to die wondering, are they, Waverley Blues?
No, they won't. Certainly, I think you'll see a bit of a response from this quarter. I hope so.
Very hard for a side to dominate the contest all afternoon. Waverley Blues will get their chance. Don't worry about that.
I think it said more about Boronia in that term, and that's for sure. So, Jared Beanland to kick us off for the second quarter.
So we see Johnson going in the ruck there for the Waverley Blues, but it's a clearance for Boronia. They get it down towards centre half forward. Gilo was there, managed to work his man onto the ball. Waverley Blues just getting the hard ball there. However, it's an absolute scrap right now. Still yet to see who's going to win a clear possession. Looks like it's Waverley Blues, but it's going to be given straight up to Hare. Hare finds an easy target inside forward 50. And it's going to be Luke Hannon to go back. And I do wonder if he's got the distance in him. It'll hurt the Waverley Blues a lot if he does have the distance and the accuracy for this.
Numbers once again around the contest. And a loose ball feed on a turnover once again has hurt Waverley Blues here.
Luke Hannon trots in. Gets the kick on the way. It might just fall short. No, it doesn't. It does not fall short at all. So in the first minute of the second quarter, Boronia continue to capitalise upon this lead. And that is a goal to Luke Hannon. Well done there.
Very good goal there to open that second quarter for Boronia. Down to you, Besto.
Yeah, I was just over at the Boronia huddle, boys, and Matt Clark's pretty happy. Just on old mate Harvey Chin, he's back on. I spoke to the trainer, just a bit of a tight hammy, but he's fine. Matt just wants him to be brave, just continue doing what they're doing. When they have under a little bit of pressure, he said, don't panic. He said, just hold the ball, don't be afraid. He wants their tackling pressure. He's happy with that too. 23 tackles in the first quarter, and he just wants the boys to go out and just continue to shut Waverley down.
Absolutely. Around the grounds quickly, Doncaster East 9-4-58 to zip for Doncaster as Boronia look to go forward themselves once more. Turned over here. Here's a chance now for Waverley. Langford, and there was a throw called, so it'll go the free kick here to Max Brasher, and it is a 25-minute penalty here. I believe that was against Langford.
Well, that was very unprofessional there. He knew that the free kick was already there. He was stalling for time, and he had to pay the penalty for it.
So here's Max Brasher inside 50, out the back, grabbing it first there. The Waverley Blues, the hands of Strongman, but out of bounds. So a boundary throw-in. Gone 2 minutes into this second quarter. 26-point lead to the Hawks.
Apart from Strongman, everyone looked very slow to react to that ball inside 50. Boronia players included.
So ball brought back into play.
Probably wasn't a well-directed kick there by Max Brasher, though.
No one can really get a clear grab of the ball here. This ball just tapped towards the boundary line. The tackle by Langford wraps up his opponent. As we mentioned earlier, Vermont 6-3-39 to 3 behinds Norwood.
So back to the coalface, and it's a kick out of that scrimmage there for Boronia, but it's floated over the line, out of bounds on the full. In front of the scoreboard there, which reads Boronia 5-5-35 to the Waverley Blues 1-3-9. 3 minutes gone in this second quarter. We're just waiting for the ball to come back.
I think it might be just out of bounds, Jared.
Just quickly, boys. One Turner South 3-4-22 lead South Belgrave 1-5-11. And Moorabach 2-1-13 lead North Ringwood 1-5-11. While Mitcham 4-6-30 lead Montrose 3-2-20 in that second quarter.
So Montrose fighting back in that one. I noticed they were scoreless for a little bit of time there. So from that clearance, that was Begley just feeding a small handball out, but it only went as far as Rufus. Now he got it to the coach in Langford. His kick down the line, however, was ill-directed. Intercept mark taken there, I think, by Lake with the sleeve there. Pretty easy to spot, Jared Lake. And that's a very high ball towards the half-forward line. Oh, coming over and crashing the pack there, I think was Hale. It was Johnson, actually. And that's created an opportunity for the Waverley Blues to go forward again. But ill-directed kick once more. Boronia to try and sweep it away. That was well done. Well read by Burgess to come through. He got it to Brasher. Handball has been given up, however, to Tyson Hale for Waverley Blues. They go forward again, but once more hitting a wall. Playstead did well not to give away the free kick. Make sure the ball went to ground. And it's Langford turning this way. That just lost his footing. Completely confused his opponents, however, in doing so. Kicked it into the pocket, and the mark was swallowed up there. And it's Bolton, Jess Bolton, the veteran for Boronia, to take things away. Boronia continue to push forward. Kick by kick. McNamara, however, is making them work for it. He beat Begley to it briefly. Johnson was there to help out. Got it back to McNamara. The boundary line was looming, and in the end of the day, it was what won.
Boronia have done extremely well. They really are denying clean possession for Waverley Blues all over the ground early in this contest.
And they lead by 26 points, 5-5-35 to 1-3-9 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 5 minutes going into this second term as they go forward again. It's a turnover kick, though, and Sam Hale down back takes a mark, and they look to play on here. And a mark in the middle to Mir. He's kicked down the line to Muhammad in the middle of the ground. Will look to play on immediately and go inside 50. This is where they've struggled. Lake there, punched it away. Picking up here is Williamson. Throws it onto the left boot. Going forward, they need a mark. Almost there, taken by Boronia. It is. And a strong hands there by Luke Flanagan back in the side this week. Kicks it out to the far side. And they can move the ball down the line into the direction of Noobs. Bounced off his chest. Picked it up cleanly, though. Spun around. Did very well. He'll take a bounce here. He's got a bit of time. Going inside 50. Almost just over the top of his target there in Hannon. Picked up by Sapanchi. Hand passed it over the top there to Diggle. And they look to try and clear out now through Hatch. He's caught in a tackle and has just dropped it. So holding the ball. Free kick to Boronia. Play on inside 50. Robertson got it. And just how quick they are to continue on. They played on, used the advantage well, and Robertson will have his set shot for goal number 2. Or goal number 3. Have I missed one?
No, he's got 2. He's on going for 3.
So Ben Robertson.
Once again, they paid the penalty for a turnover and a lack of insight there, Waverley Blues.
Lining up for goal number 3. They already lead by 26 points. Be a very handy margin in the early stages of the second quarter. Robertson comes in. It's a good-looking kick just to the right, though, for a minor score. 5-6-36 to the Waverley Blues. 1-3-9 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, boys. What can Waverley Blues do to get back in this game?
They need a couple of goals very quickly, Waverley Blues. They've got to try and find some momentum.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden, at the moment, the momentum's all with Boronia.
So the mark's been taken by Playstead here on the kick out. And he's going to try and look for the corridor here. He's got it to Duck. And Duck just gets a short kick, a low ball to a teammate. And I think this might be, it could be fresher. He's looking for options. Boronia have done really well to stem the flow here that the Waverley Blues just haven't gotten going. And that ball sailed over the boundary line for a throw.
I think that really epitomises Waverley Blues play. They took too long to dispose of the ball, allow Boronia to run back and cover the zones, and then kick the ball out of play.
It's an unfamiliar sight, but Waverley Blues will get the clearance here through Mohammed and Langford. Kicks to a 2-on-2 situation there, but getting back for Boronia and helping out is Ryan White. He had a very clean possession there. Gets it along the line there to Jared Lake. And now Boronia will move forward once more. Middle, however, intercepted that forward thrust. We haven't called his name much today. And so he's going to try and find the outer side here. This is Kramer. Sorry, I think it might have been Diggle. Gets it towards the forward line. Once again, Brasher intercepting. This is such good work by Boronia around their half-back line to consistently repel the Waverley Blues thrusts. And so once again, Brasher receives the handball. They're going down the line here. Boronia through running. Noops is the target this time. Johnson over the top. Did well to spoil it, but it's fallen for Boronia once again. Scooped up. I think that might have been Begley. His shot at goal just sails across the face. And it's a boundary throw in there in the forward pocket for Boronia.
A win there for Boronia, because if that had gone through for a point, that would have given possession back to the Waverley Blues. Boronia at the moment at 5-6 probably should be a little further in front.
So ball brought back into play through Hannon. Quick handball off to Fairchild. Puts it on the boot towards goal. Punched over the line. And just a minor score. The Hawks 5-7-37 lead the Waverley Blues 1-3-9. Coming up to the 10-minute mark of this second quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Just 1 or 2 goals away from making this really tough for a comeback, but still not out of it. 28 points, and the kick out here is turned over straight to Hannon. And he's probably in range.
Makes it harder when you turn the ball over like that. That's really hurting them at the moment, Waverley Blues. Not only their handball is fine, but their foot skills have deserted them so far this afternoon.
So a chance here for Hannon to put one through and really make it difficult for the Waverley Blues. Decides to go short in the direction of his teammate there in Nick Noops. Too easy for the Hawks.
And when you've got blokes like Noops and Begley, 2 tall guys with the agility of Robertson and Fairchild in that forward line, that's a really potent forward line. And once again, that's going to stretch any opposition in this division this year. And at the moment, Waverleys are in 5s and 6s about how to handle this.
So Noops, he kicked the opening goal of the game, looking for his second of the match. And to stretch this margin out to 32 points, the kick is wayward and out of bounds on the full. So the Waverley Blues just hang in there, but they need to kick one soon. 1-4-10, the Waverley Blues to Boronia 5-6-36. Oh, 5-7-37, apologies, so 1-3-9 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So, into the... let's go down to the boundary line with Blake Tennant as we get a ball up.
Just got a couple of scores down in Division 3. Got Ventry Gully 4-6-30 to Donvale 4-1-25. You would say that's a pretty good game. And it's Sylvan, the big one here. Sylvan 4-4-28 to Warrandyte 1-2-8.
So from that stoppage, we've got a free kick to the Waverley Blues. Now can they thrust forward? Once again, the foot skills deserting them. Zach Dower gobbling up an easy mark there. Just gets it to the wing. It was a good, well-weighted kick to Burgess. Got it off to a teammate there. Now it's to the run of Luke Hannon. Gets the handball forward now to Chin, who's back on the ground. Good to see. And the kick inboard. Oh, cut off there by the Waverley Blues. It's Diggle under a lot of pressure. Pushed in the back. Or holding the man even. Let's go down to Blake real quick.
And got some Division 1 scores. Got Mitcham 5-6-36 to Montrose 5-4-34.
Thank you to Blake Tennant for Tobin Brothers down there doing a good job. And the mark from the Waverley Blues once again taken by Zach Dower. He's going to thrust Boronia inside forward 50. The target was obvious. It was Robertson. He spilt it. Just regained it. The handball inboard didn't come off, but it's now spilled out to Luke Hannon. Kick towards the pocket. Hare is there. Couldn't do much with it, however, and it trails over the boundary line. Some opportunities going a little bit begging for Boronia at the moment, but they're still very much in control of the game.
But the turnovers of Waverley Blues just keep turning the ball over and keeping that ball in Boronia's inside 50s to create numerous opportunities.
And so back into play here. Waverley Blues are going to have to be cool under pressure to get it out of here. Let's go to Paul Uconi in the Carsdale Stat Centre.
The Boronia defenders look like they're getting marking practice. They've taken 14 intercept marks already in this game.
It's been quite remarkable, and that is that kicking deficiencies there of the Waverley Blues. Playstead got it out of the ruck. Once again, another intercept mark to add to the tally there.
Because every kick that they take is under pressure.
And it was Duncanson who took it. Sends Boronia back inside forward 50. Robertson with the fly. Couldn't take it down. Good tackle there laid by Gilo. And it looks like another stoppage there in the forward 50. Dangerous, dangerous times here for the Waverley Blues. Ryan Long.
Certainly right. Big margin here for the Hawks. 13 minutes gone in this second term. A goal here could really put things out of reach. The kick from the pocket to almost through the middle there, just for a minor score.
Oh, they're threatening, aren't they?
Well, they look to be, one or two more goals just from really breaking this game wide open. There's not a whole lot of run from the Waverley Blues at the moment.
They're letting them off. They should be further in front, Boronia, than how far they're in front already, because they're letting them off for a hook.
Waverley Blues kick out is cut off here. Now chance through for Phillips. Couldn't quite keep it in, but he beat his man there in Kramer.
I mean, testament still to Waverley Blues. They're creating enough pressure to maintain the fact that Boronia haven't got away on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, as the ball flicked out to Fairchild. Picked up here by the Waverley Blues. Handled over the top to Rufus. Couldn't quite get there. Picking up cleanly was Noops. He passed over the top. A chance for Duncanson to get involved. He's kicked towards White. Coming in there is Dower. Picked up cleanly. Throws it on the right boot towards goal. Zach Dower has kicked it. Another one for the Hawks. 6-8-44 lead the Waverley Blues 139. And Zach Dower just pounced on that. And a beautiful finish.
That's a potential for a Tobin Brothers
potential
goal
for the Tobin Brothers goal of the day.
And that's just reward for Boronia, because the last 5 or 6 minutes they were able to keep that ball inside their forward 50. They created an overlap. Dower picked up the ball on a loose ball feed, dropped it onto the boot. No pressure really, and managed to score another goal. Boronia are in control here, and Waverley have dug themselves into a big hole here. I don't know how they're going to get out of it, but they're going to have to try and find a way.
Yeah, but I think the scoreboard's definitely starting to reflect the nature of the game now. Holding in the ruck contest. Free kick will go to Playstead, I believe. Nope, it was actually one of the midfielders there for the Waverley Blues. So forward they go once more. What can Boronia do here? It was a free kick, push in the back there. And Waverley Blues get a bit of an opportunity here. It's
one of the rare mistakes there by the Boronia defence. They were a bit worried about Williamson's lead up the ground. They tried to outmanoeuvre him, but he still had the body strength to maintain his position.
So Williamson to come in.
Needs this.
They really, really do need this, the Waverley Blues. It's a straight-looking kick. It might just fade. Goes to the top of the goal square. And Boronia to try and rush it through. Oh, they haven't managed to do so, and so the kick was touched. for the Waverley Blues. Opportunity gone begging there for them. So they move to 1-4-10. Boronia, of course, 6-8-44. 16 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Ryan Long to kick us in.
Probably the only time Boronia's backline had a bit of a brain fade there. Lucky not to pay the penalty with a goal.
You're certainly right. The Waverley Blues will look at that as a missed opportunity. They need to kick one soon, while also not being able to give up another goal. They've only given up the 2 this quarter, but it has been all Boronia so far as they look to clear their defensive 50. Out the back there, mark taken, I believe, there by Sam Hale. His kick inside 50, mark almost taken. Hand pass it off to Muhammad, and he puts it towards the goal. And Burgess is there on the last line of defence to take the mark. And he decides to short kick it there to his teammate in Stanley. His kick out wide. And they just link up down the line. Mark there taken by Nathan Hare. And they've used the ball so well this afternoon. Hare goes down the line. Getting under it there, almost taken there by Johnson, but out the back for Boronia, a chance now. Hannon takes his time before he kicks it forward in the direction of Robertson, running onto it, picks it up, handballs it over the top. He knew Gile was there. Gile takes his time though. White running towards goal, and they turn it over here. Good pressure there by the Waverley Blues. We'll get it out of bounds. 34-point lead to the Hawks. Oh, I believe, yeah, 34-point. Yep. My math was tested there for a second. Never been a strong point of mine.
What, maths?
No, not at all.
What was yours? Pythagoras, was it theorem, mate?
No, nothing with numbers. As the ball brought back into play. And the kick there out of bounds. 18 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Feel like if they can get it within 5 goals, the Waverley Blues, they kick one late in the second half, they might go in a little positive because they've been outplayed for the entire first half.
I think they've got to find a way of getting Williamson into the game. I think maybe push him up to centre half forward.
So ball brought back into play here, inside 50 for the Hawks. Muhammad grabbing it and tackled right away. So another ball up. Because
they need a forward that can kick goals. And he's the only one that looks likely to kick a goal for them at the moment.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Brasher. That was the voice of Wayne Brasher there in the special comments next to Tobin Brothers. And another ball up there. We've had a couple of repeat stoppages. Johnson to try and get the tap down for the Blues. We'll go down to the boundary in a second, but Boronia looks like they're going to get this clearance. They've got it to a man in space. That was Phillips. High ball towards the pocket there, coming across with the spoil. The Boronia forwards. That was well done by Noops. And let's go down to the boundary line with Brett Beston.
Yeah, just picking up on Brasher's point about Josh Williamson. He sort of needs to be in 2 places at once. It's obvious the Blues really missing Perry, of course, who was laid out today.
And it was a free kick out of the stoppage there for Boronia. Yet another opportunity here as we're about to tick into time on in this second quarter.
He's coming to the game more and more in this quarter, Luke Hannon. He's now starting to become a real headache for the Waverley Blues defence as well.
So it looks like he's got a bit of an angle to negotiate here. He might have just kicked it to the top of the goal square, or he might have just sent it, and it's just come off the post out of the marking contest. So another behind to Boronia. They move to 6-9-45 to the Waverley Blues, 1-4-10. Just 10 seconds left of what I guess green time, if we're calling it red time. That was an awful kick by the Waverley Blues out of defence. Gave another opportunity to Kieran Edwards that time, but another behind for Boronia. Let's go to the score centre with Ryan Long.
Yeah, around the grounds, East Ringwood 7-9-51, lead Park 5 straight 30. Rowville stretch their lead 5-6, 36 to 2 straight 12. Balwyn, Vermont 9-8-62, still lead Norwood 2-4-16. And then Montrose have jumped out to 11-point lead over the Tigers 7-5, 47 to 5-6, 36.
I can see Blake here down on the boundary line just pumping his fist to that one. So let's see if the experienced Ryan McNamara can find a route out of defence for the Waverley Blues. He's kicked it to this year's recruit Duck, hands it back to McNamara. Another kick down to the wing there. Mark taken by the Waverley Blues. So let's see if they can build. It's a slower play than what they'd be wanting, but it could be what works. And it doesn't work. Luke Hannon intercepts. As we've said, he's been everywhere. Brasher nearly takes a mark. It was courageous stuff there in the middle of the ground. Sweeped, had his feet swept out from under him. Ended up getting tackled, and we'll have a ball up in the center of the ground. Up goes Johnson, gets the tap down. Boronia, that was well fed out of the middle there for the Hawks. And they're going to try and find another route home, but it looks like it's going to be another ball up.
That was well done by Max Brasher then. He still fed that ball outside even after copping that heavy knock.
So Boronia from the clearance there, down towards centre half forward. It was taken by Chin. He gets the handball to Fairchild. Scrubby ball inside forward 50 might work there for Gilo. He's got it in the goal square. He's challenged, just gave it up. And it looks like it was holding the ball. Good tackling there by Waverley Blues, but Gilo did so well, just lost a handle on it.
They needed that Waverley Blues.
Yep, indeed. It's these desperate defending efforts that are keeping them alive here, but not their kicking, not in the slightest. That one was turned over, and Josh Hannon took the mark. He's found Edwards there at centre half forward to send Boronia forward once again. Kieran Edwards, recruit from Knox this year, gets the kick towards, I think that was Begley, but he was spoiled over the top there by the Waverley Blues. And Mir to take it away for the Blues. Let's see if this can be a path home for them. So it's been given out to Mittel. They're leaning they're chaining the handballs up. It was Mittel and placed dead. Mittel again. He's under lake pressure. Looks like his kick was affected by that pressure, and it just trails into the pocket over the line. But a thrust forward for Waverley Blues. Let's go to Paul Yukoni in the Carsdale Sat Centre.
The inside 50s have actually been very even. The only difference is Boronia are capitalising on the inside 50s, and they're keeping them in there for longer.
Thanks, Paul.
Definitely have kept them in there for longer, and as well, deeper entries for Boronia also. Very shallow entries for the Waverley Blues.
Let's see what they can do here if they can lock it inside 50. We've got 23 minutes into this second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Need a late goal. Hannon in the ruck, grabbed it, put it on the boot. Going towards a teammate there. Over the top, Fairchild's there, cut off. Here's a chance now for the Waverley Blues inside 50 in the direction. And a free kick here. I believe that is going to play, said. No, it's not.
It's like Williamson.
Williamson will take the kick. And a chance here for the Waverley Blues to bring this margin back to 5 goals.
They need this goal on the stroke at half-time, Waverley Blues, because they have, in all honesty, they've been outplayed in this first half by Boronia.
So Josh Williamson will come in with the kick. Important one for the Waverley Blues. He's kicked it. He's put it through. Their second for the afternoon, 2-4-16. Trail the Hawks 6-10-46. 24 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
To say they needed that would be to insult the intelligence of everyone listening.
And probably an understatement.
Yeah, exactly.
But at least in this quarter, I mean, it's been still controlled mainly by Boronia, but they've only given up, I think, the 2 goals for the quarter, which is, although Boronia have missed some chances, it's something to, you know, a bit of positive, something to look at half-time and realise only 30 points. If they can just get the momentum back in their way with a couple of goals, you never know.
Yeah, if you'd said to me that the defence would be the feature of Waverley Blues' game.
Well, the defence has been really strong, and
exactly.
that's probably a bit underrated. And that's the likes of a Turner and a Hale, and it really well set up behind the ball. Hatch has played a good start to the season, so they do have a really talented back line.
So back into the centre there. Johnson got the tap down. Brasher sharked it, only briefly, however. Rufus back onto it, cops a high free kick there. And so he'll load up, try and get the ball down towards the forward line. What can Waverley Blues do with it here? No, it's been scooped up there by Flanagan, and it's the kick out towards Edwards here. Oh, the bounce did not favour him whatsoever. He's going to turn tackler, and he's done that well. He's
well done,
wrapped
Edwards. That was well played by him.
He wrapped up Walker, who was best on ground last week for the Waverley Blues.
I think.
Yeah, against East Burwood. Haven't really called his name too much today. So Johnson out of the ruck there. And it looks like it's going to be yet another ball up. We're in the shadows of half-time. Boronia 6-10-46. Waverley Blues 2-4-16. 26 minutes gone in this second quarter. Boronia nearly got the clearance. It was broken up, however. Sawn over the boundary line once again. And we'll get another stoppage.
26 minutes gone in this second quarter. The Hawks here with a handy 5-goal lead. Oh, caught in a tackle there, very much high, and a free kick going the way of Chris Duck.
Just a couple of sloppy tackles in time on by Boronia, just giving Waverley Blues a few inside 50
and they'll look to guys like Duck for a bit of leadership as they trail at the moment. Mir got the ball from a spoil, handballed it over the top. They keep it alive inside their forward 50. Strong tackle there by Steele. Kick in towards the goal square. If a mark can be taken, almost felt off the hands. And a free kick here going Boronia's way. Zach Dower. And a short kick to the far side. And finds Mellis. They'll look to go forward themselves this time. Finds Ryan White on the far side. Coming up to 27 minutes gone.
In some ways, Boronia probably tried to play a bit too much tempo football in this second quarter.
So White down the line. This would really hurt if that big fly there. Nick Noops out the back. This would hurt if they get a goal here for the Waverley Blues. As a punch away, good spoil. Falls into the hands of Verges. Picked up by Dower. Passed it off to Hannon. Kick going forward. They've got numbers here. One of them is Max Brasher. Takes the mark. Looks to play on immediately. Short kick inside 50 to Fairchild, just through his hands, but fell into the hands of Josh Begley. Spun around one, caught in a tackle, and a free kick going Josh Begley's way for a high tackle.
Yeah, I think that could have gone either way, I reckon. I think I might have called play on with that.
I'll have to see on the Bendigo Bank replay.
Certainly not a goal that you want to give up just on half-time.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. They've sort of, I don't know if you'd say levelled things, but their last 5 minutes have been much better. And a goal here hurts because it stretches the margin back out to 6 goals. If Josh Begley can put this through on the eve of half-time, 28 minutes into this second quarter. There's the siren, and Josh Begley comes in, and it's to the left, so just a minor score. The Hawks will move to 6-11-47. Waverley Blues 2-4-16. We'll be back after the half-time break and analyse everything that's happened in this second quarter.
Her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Tormore Reserve as we've got the second division matchup between Boronia and the Waverley Blues on EFNL game day. Currently it's Boronia 6-11-47 to the Waverley Blues 2-4-16. My name is Jared Beanland calling for you today, and I've been joined by our boundary riders for today, Brett Beston and Blake Tennant. Brett, how have you seen this game so far?
It's just all on Boronia's terms, isn't it? I mean, they look so good at right across the ground. They've repelled everything that's they've been thrown at them, in the attack, with the likes of Burgess and Lake down back, and when it's gone forward. I've really been impressed with some of their big guys up forward. They've really dominated. I mean, Robertson's been good. But the other guy that's caught my eye is
Noops, perhaps? Yeah.
Noops has been really good. He's been good in the ruck. And he's gone forward and he's been dangerous as well. He's kicked a goal. So, to be honest, I just don't know where it's going to come from for the Waverley Blues. They're really missing, I think they're missing the big man up front who was laid out. And Perry.
Yeah.
So
Pale.
I think they need to get someone, maybe Playstead needs to get into the game more. Williamson's been shut down. And it's just hard to know how they're going to get back into the game, to be honest.
Yeah, Blake, do you have any thoughts in terms of where the Waverley Blues can find that, that stem the flow and actually gain some momentum for themselves?
Well, the last couple of minutes, for example, where, I think with Star and Boronia, they keep ruining what Waverley Blues want to do. And I feel like Waverley are playing in Boronia's hands pretty much this whole game from what I'm seeing. And if Waverley want to do, they want to get back to where they were, in Division 3 last year. I know we touched on about that, but it's a new year for them. And I feel like if they could just bring their brand that they bring, which is the run and use of the wings and, trying to get some run-throughs through the middle, I feel like that's not quite happening. It's not the standard that we've seen from Waverley today.
No, you're right, and it's definitely been the pressure, I think, of Boronia that's shot them down. The kicking for Waverley Blues, as Brasher has pointed out, pretty consistently throughout the day, has just not been up to the standard. But the defence has been standing up well for Waverley Blues. Is there anything you're noticing on the boundary line there, Brett, that has indicated exactly who has been the main players in defence for Waverley Blues, or why they're standing up so well?
Oh, look, I think just the usual suspects. I think we talked about, you guys might have mentioned them, Hatch, is it? And who else is in their defence?
Strongman.
He's been pretty good. So, I mean, they're giving it their best, but they haven't got look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 6 goals. Is it for Boronia? So it sort of seems like it should be a bit closer, but they've just the fact that the Waverley Blues haven't been able to find the big sticks themselves. That's been the big problem. And if they pitched, they got that late one right on half time, and if they could have got maybe a second one, you might have just started to think, well, there's a chance. But I just think, to me, I think they're too far behind, and I think Boronia were just playing too well. There's just no passengers for Boronia today. Look, so many. I mean, Hannon, as we talked about, was really good. The other guy, I just want to find him. Jake Mallis has been really good. There's just been no passengers, so I think they're strong right across the park, and I think they'll run this one out pretty comfortably in the second half.
Yeah, I'm consistently impressed by Boronia's midfield. I think whenever we saw them against Heathmont, of course, last year, and that was a hugely dominant performance. And it all started in the middle. Begley has been.
He was
excellent.
really good in the first quarter. He wasn't quite so prominent second quarter, but he's doing enough, and he's just showing his class around the ball. So
yeah. Do you think, Blake, that there's anything in the middle that the Waverley Blues can be doing differently? Of course, not having Nick Perry in the ruck this week obviously hurts them. Is it something that can be fixed in the ruck, or is it clearance work, or what's the go there?
I think it's a bit of both, to be fair, because they're getting destroyed. I don't know if Paul's got this, but I think
the clearances here that I'm reading from Paul is that Waverley are getting destroyed from that clearance point of view. I think Boronia had 10 and Waverley Blues only had 5. So it's just showing that that's where they're getting pretty much, you want to get the first use of your ruckman, and you boys touched on as well with Perry missing out. He's a pretty good footballer. But yeah, he must be a big out for him if they're getting destroyed on clearances, because I think they had 12 Boronia to Waverley Blues 3, and then they at half time Boronia lead 10-4. So that's probably where the game's probably been won really by Boronia, and they're really capitalising on that.
Yeah, for sure. And the delivery inside 50 as well from the Waverley Blues. I mean, I've been impressed with Boronia's defence today, but I think it's the pressure up the ground that has made that defence look really good, just given that those entries for the Waverley Blues haven't been great. However, the defence has been great. Jared Lake has been fantastic, as always. Brett, do you think, that potent forward line structure that we've seen at Waverley Blues, does it just not quite look up to the scratch of Division 2, or is it more just Boronia?
That's the other thing I was going to say. I mean, you're taking nothing away from them, and they have had 3 wins to start off the season, which is fantastic, but they really haven't had, what was the one game they had? It was one decent game, but really this is their first real challenge, and at the moment they're just getting shown up a little.
And so just around the grounds here, Blake, you've got some scores for us?
Yeah, just got some Division 1 scores. Got South Belgrave 2-8-20 to Wantirna South 5-6-36. So a bit of a shock, you would say, around there, because considering South Belgrave's hot start. Beaconsfield, the score hasn't changed since the last time I scored, but 5-1-31 to Croydon 1-3-9. Mooroolbark lead 5-2-32 to North Ringwood 2-5-17. And a big one down here at the Lilydale Sports Oval. Lilydale 1-6-12 to Bayswater 5-4-34. So you reckon Bayswater might be getting close to their first win.
Yeah.
And down at Walker Park, the Richmond Football Club 5-6-36 to Montrose 6-7-43.
You'd be happy with that one.
Yeah,
so far anyway.
Interesting scores. If you got it, what scores? Have you got any scores? Well, we can.
Absolutely. I've got some Premier Div scores. Norwood currently getting thrashed by Vermont, 2-4-16 to 9-8-62. That's a big lead for Vermont. Norseman looking a little bit in trouble, and with the double relegation in Premier Division, there might be some nervy times there up at Mullum. East Ringwood, meanwhile, battling against their fellow 2021 Division 1 compadres, the Park Orchards Sharks. East Ringwood are up 8-9-57 to Park Orchards, 5 straight 30. Rowville fighting against Balwyn. It's 5-6-36 to 2 straight 12 there. Balwyn down in that one. Doncaster East. Now this is the match that we've done a couple times over the past couple of years for Anzac Day. Probably a good thing that we've not done it today. Doncaster East 9-4-58 to Doncaster 0. So we'll be back for the third quarter very shortly on the other side of this ad break, and we'll return here to Tormore Reserve.
At Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in, because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing kickboxing personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Boronia Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Tormore Reserve for the Eastland match of the round between Boronia and Waverley Blues. Both sides undefeated heading into this match. And at half-time, it is Boronia 6-11-47, leading the Waverley Blues 2-4-16. 31-point lead, boys. It's a bit of an ask here for Waverley Blues. They haven't certainly played their best footy yet, but we're hoping to see if they can turn it around in the early stages of this third quarter and make it a bit more of a contest, because arguably they probably should be a little further down.
You're right, Brian. Is
that Brian?
Brian.
Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. There's always that fine line between pleasure and pain. Go on, Besto.
Clark, the coach of the Brodie Hawks, would have to be pretty happy at half-time, mate. What was the half-time message?
It's more of the same. Really focus on pressure, making sure as we start physically fatiguing that we don't drop off that pressure when we haven't got the footy, and I think we're setting the ground up really well. So our run, taking those risks, using the ball with speed when we get it, and letting the ground open up. So it's nothing really any different. It's just a refocus and highlighting that when we're fatiguing, we've still got to be loud and we've still got to do the things that have got us to where we are at the moment.
Just quickly, I know you're very happy with your tackling pressure at quarter time, so that's something. Whilst you're getting, getting the goals on the board, it's important to keep up that pressure around the ball, isn't it?
Yeah, that's our DNA, right? So we want to be a really strong tackling side, forcing pressure, forcing turnovers at the source. We just don't want to try and get it back on the half-back line. We want to get it at the contest. So that was, as you probably hear me, I'm talking to every player coming off. That is what we just want to keep drumming into them, and that's what we want Boronia 23 to be.
Champion. Thanks, mate.
Thanks to Brett Besson there. Thanks to Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives. I think the thing here, as much as maybe we're looking for more of a response from Waverley, Boronia have just been phenomenal, and we spoke to Clarkey. It hasn't quite clicked yet in the opening 2 rounds. Today it looks like it's clicking. They started to really get on top of the game. So here's the third quarter, Jared Beanlin.
So on the clearance there, it looks like, I think it was Sapanchi trying to get the clearance. He's worked his way into the midfield. So the magnets have been shoved around a bit. In fact, it was Mohammed, actually, not Sapanchi. That's my mistake. So he's been put into the centre from the forward line. Free kick has gone to Gilo, though, for Boronia, and it looks like they'll be thrusting forward first. Intercept easily taken, however, by the Waverley Blues, and they're going to try and link up through handballs. This is as much space and time as they've had throughout this game by the looks of it, and it results in a mark down the field to Williamson, who's worked his way up, and it looks like Playstead's going to be the target here. A one-on-one situation goes over the top of him, out the back, and it's Playstead back onto it. Tackled, however, and just over the line. Might have been Sam Johnson, actually, the initial target there. And so Boronia to kick it in.
So 2-5-17, the Waverley Blues. Trail Boronia 6-11-47, even 5-goal margin. Just a minute into this third quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Harry Burgess, the kick out, finds Begley. Been very impressive in this opening half. Right in front of us here, he might send it down the line. Has a short kick on. Play on, off to Jared Lake, he's caught in the tackle there by Middle. We got it away cleanly. Now a chance through Turner to send it back inside 50. Repeat entries for the Waverley Blues. Clearing it out though, Boronia did very well. And it's gone right back in the hands of Ben Turner. Best on ground at last year's grand final. Dangerous kick. It could be cut off. The mark was good there by Hale. Stood his ground. He'll go inside 50 again. Out the back. Here's a chance. Sir Williamson turned around. Got his kick on the boot. Didn't quite go far enough. Chance in the forward line here. Grabbing it there. The Boronia player caught in a tackle. Falls into the hands of Johnson. And the Waverley Blues kick the first of the third quarter. Just the one they needed. And they go to 3-5-23 to Boronia 6-11-47. 24 points. And the perfect start for the Waverley Blues. Some repeat forward 50 entries. And then finally the result.
Yeah, good start there for Waverley Blues. They put the pressure on Boronia defence then and were rewarded. Boronia just got a little bit too cute there trying to... and they turned the ball over and that allowed Waverley Blues to get on their bike and was able to create an opportunity.
It was impressive there for the Waverley Blues to actually find that space finally. So
another goal for Waverley Blues would make it very interesting here.
It would spark the match back into a little bit of life, wouldn't it? Mohammed there couldn't quite get the clearance, so it's come to Hannon. His kick was a high one. Middle standing under it was a dangerous place to be. Couldn't drop the mark, couldn't take the mark, dropped it, and the Waverley Blues had to turn tackler. In that case, it was Turner. And we've got a ball up here on the wing, on the inner side. And there's a free kick and advantage to Boronia. So Stanley kicks it inside forward 50. The target was obvious. It was Robertson. Strongman got the punch away, however, which was important because Waverley Blues now on rebound. Steele's worked his way up the ground to take that mark. He's got a man out wide. And this is Walker. It's a great, well-placed kick by Josh Walker. Straight into the waiting hands of Josh Williamson.
Rash, that was probably their best play so far. Quick transition and their kicking then much more efficient.
Much better and back and they had no chance of the Boronia back line.
Quickly down to the boundary line with Blake.
Yeah, he's really lifted Williamson. I think Brashy talks about he needs to get involved. He's definitely getting involved this quarter, and he has to. Because
Williamson, sorry Blake, I had to cut you off because he's come straight in and kicked the second goal of the quarter for the Waverley Blues. That was exactly what they needed. Let's go back down to Blake.
Yeah, just to capitalise on what I said there. Yeah, Brush, he talks about how Williamson needs to get involved in this game. I think he's had it, from what I've seen, he's seen the ball a lot this quarter, and he's definitely lifted. And with that, he's definitely going to be the vocal point if Waverley Blues want to try and come back and win this game.
Let's quickly go to Paul Uconi in the Carsales Stat Centre.
They are going well in this third quarter here. Waverley Blues, a great start from there. Getting the ball inside 50 a lot quicker, a lot more efficient. 5 inside 50s to 1 in favour.
So back in the middle here, we'll get another stoppage. So repeated, 6-11-47 Boronia to Waverley Blues 4-5-29. 5 minutes into the third quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Great response here from Waverley. The first two make things a little more interesting as if they can get another one. Ryan White here for the Hawks kicks it towards the boundary line and rolls out as we go boundary side with Blake.
Yeah, it's actually best day here, boys. Luke Cannon is done for the day. He's coming back off a hamstring injury anyway. I've just spoken to the trainer. He's been taped up, and it's purely precautionary, but they've taken him out of the game, so no more Luke Cannon for the day.
That is a massive loss. Both Hannons had been playing well so far as Waverley Blues look to go inside 50 again in front of Steele. Picked it up nicely, handballed it back. They've taken some time. Their kicking has been much better this quarter. Finds an open man in Hale in the middle of the ground. Inside 50, mark taken by Langford.
And that's way
how's
more
the ball used? How much better has it been in this quarter?
Yeah, way more reminiscent of their Division 3 performances
and their first 3 rounds of the season, which has been really strong. So look at that. It's turned around in just 5 minutes. If Langford kicks this, it's suddenly a 25-minute penalty here, and it should be almost a certain goal here, and it'll be back to 2 goals. After the absolute dominance of Boronia in the first half, Waverley Blues have come out firing in this third quarter. Langford comes in, makes no mistake. Back to 2 goals. Waverley Blues 5-5-35. Boronia 6-11-47. 6 minutes gone in this third quarter. Boys, we've got ourselves a game.
We have, and I did say that Waverley Blues were going to get their chance to get back into the contest. They've really started well in this second half. They've owned the opening 7 minutes.
The boys on the boundary will cover this, but it looks like Zach Dow has come off limping here.
So they're down to 2 on the bench now, Boronia.
Which is unfortunate.
So that's definitely going to be a tricky situation for Boronia to have to manage with just 2 on the bench to
They're hitting
run out
their
a game.
targets a lot better, Waverley Blues, and they're playing with a little bit more purpose, and they've lowered their eyes.
So back into the centre. We'll get to Paul in the stats centre in one quick second. But Waverley Blues on that clearance has just been wrapped up. Paul, what have you got for us?
Waverley Blues didn't take a mark inside 50 in the first half, but they've already taken 2 marks inside 50 in this third quarter.
So that's very much a big turnaround. It was a holding the ball decision there. So we'll go to the boundary in a second here. But Waverley Blues pushing forward again. This was Mohammed. His kick inside forward 50. Not really doing much there for the Waverley Blues. Good smother there by Mia. It was Begley off his boot. He managed to regain the football, get it to Max Brasher. And Boronia just needing to settle a little bit here. They've been challenged in the opening moments of this quarter. So it's gone out to Bolton and now to Cooper Duncanson, who's pushed his way up across the wing. Back to Bolton. Boronia just trying to figure things out here. Still trying to move with purpose. Brasher, back to Bolton. Kick towards the wing. And it's this is Chin working his way up the ground. And
now Boronia are being challenged in their decision making.
They look a little statuesque and confused here, the Hawks. But Edwards takes the mark. He wants to play on quickly. That's the first time we've seen that in this play. And it worked out for them with Gilo taking the mark there at half forward for Boronia. Still kicking a bit from goal. And it's down to the Waverley Blues defence to try and repel it this time. The Flyers go up. Nothing doing. The ball falls out the back. Waverley Blues are going to have to be calm and collected here. Place dead. Just hands it off there to Fresher. They're trying to tap it along here. Out of danger. Good tackle laid there. I think that was by Kramer. And Burgess was wrapped up. Let's go to down to the boundary line real quick.
Yeah, just a quick update on Zach Dower. I can't tell you if he's out of the game at this stage because he's in the hands of the trainer. He's definitely got a hamstring problem. The trainer, as I walked past, I said, "Is he done?" And she said, "We'll have a look and we'll hopefully know in the next couple of minutes." But he's getting iced at the moment and a bit of treatment. So fingers crossed from Bronia's point of view that he can come back on. Otherwise, there'll be 2 down on the bench.
So ball up inside 50 for the Hawks. Here's Ryan White. Throws it on the boot. Up towards the direction of Robertson. He's got a lot to beat here. About 2 Waverley Blues that flew with him. Punched away. A chance now for Waverley Blues through the hands of a teammate here. Facey. Short kick. Facey, the late inclusion. Haven't got him on my team list. As Waverley Blues link up. Now through Fresher. Switches it to the far side. And their ball use has been much better here. McNamara. Plays it, shrugs past one. Short kick there, finds Rufus.
It's a lot more composed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the efficiency by foot has certainly been a big difference, which they have turned around since half-time. McNamara now. He goes down the line, finds a target.
Little.
Just 1 second, Blake, as Waverley Blues will send this ball inside 50. And the targets are not there. Hannon's under it. So is Lake. Mark taken. Well done by Jared Lake as we go boundary side to Blake Tennant.
Yeah, just a quick one. Number 14 is Joe Facey from Waverley. I don't know if you boys have got that.
Yeah, it's just my team sheet. Thank you for checking that.
Yeah. No problem.
Blake Tennant as the ball brought down on the wing here. A chance at Gilo. Passed it off. Caught a tackle there, the Hawks. Begley picks up. Hand passes it over the top. And an out of bounds boundary throw in here. We've gone 10.5 minutes in the third quarter. It's the Hawks by 12 points.
It's easily when you see how when the roles are reversed, Waverley Blues now putting the pressure on the Boronia midfield, and they're starting to cough the ball up a little bit and create a few errors.
And so it looks like the
blood rule, is it?
No, I think the ball's just going to come back here. The throw-in was just way too shallow. Yeah. Let's go down to the boundary real quick with
just really quickly, boys. Zach Dower is out of the game, hamstring problem, so he won't be back.
That is unfortunate news there for Boronia. Let's see how they're going to respond to this challenge suddenly. So Edwards
Oh,
just kicks it towards the centre of the ground, and it was Kramer to capitalise. His kick inside forward 50 didn't come off, and it was marked by Bolton, so safe hands there. And Lake to try and take it away. Well, he just turned it straight over to Joe Facey. And he's a kick and a half from goal here for the Blues. Searching for options there. Well stocked in the forward line, usually Waverley Blues. But coming across and taking that intercept mark was Fairchild. So Boronia to try and repel from defence once more. It's 6:11:47 to the Waverley Blues 5:35. 12 minutes gone in this third quarter as Boronia exit defence. Good mark taken there on the outer side for Boronia. Kicks it inboard, finds Max Brasher, handballs it off. I think that's Fairchild. It's just a bit of a wayward kick, a little purposeless that time. Gilo was there, but Waverley Blues will win it once again by the looks of it. Tackled, wrapped up. Hare is there to try and get it away, and it was Fairchild who got the clearing kick. So Boronia go forward once again, this time through Chin. It's a one-on-one. Strongman's going to have to do well here. Just got the punch over Robertson. Finds the ball towards the boundary line. Robertson forces him over. And it's going to be a throw in there. Enough pressure on the ball carrier to say it wasn't insufficient intent.
Well, he was lucky not to get a free kick there, Robertson, because he was getting climbed over like a clothes horse, and then the Waverley Blues rushed the ball over the line. I thought the umpire let him off there.
Wayne Brasher, special comments thanks to Tobin Brothers. Ball brought back into play inside 50 here for the Hawks, but it is all Waverley Blues clearing out their duck down the line. It's gone over the top of the head of everyone, and there might be a stoppage here on the far wing. 13 minutes gone in this third quarter. Interesting third quarter. It's been the Waverley Blues 3-0. They still trail by 12 points.
It's 17 points to Boronia, but you almost feel like they need to get the next goal again.
Well, they do. It's actually 12. I think our score on the screen is wrong as Chin sends it on inside 50 here for the Hawks. Mark almost taken by Begley, but he's been given the free kick. Was being held on to. And you just go back to that, Brash, that set shot he missed at half-time.
It is 6:11 to 5:5 for our viewers out there.
So Josh Begley.
Makes an important kick here now for Begley, because Waverley Blues have had all the momentum in the opening 15 minutes here.
Well, this would be a stinger. He's already kicked one this afternoon. It's a tough angle on that far side. Josh Begley, good looking kick towards goal. It's too far right, and that is punched over the line out of bounds. So there will be a boundary throw in here for the Hawks.
Good result though.
14.5 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard of this third quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brash, that probably better than a point there for Boronia, since they have the ball in a much more dangerous spot now. So throw in comes. Hannon versus Playstead in the right. Playstead gets the better of that one. Facey at the coal face. And it's just been seen over the boundary line once again. Bit of a tug of war there from that clearance. We'll see what happens here. We've got scores with Ryan in the score centre.
Just quickly, Moolbach 53 to 22 North Ringwood.
So Playstead taps it down, straight down the throat of Hare. He could capitalise on the outside of the boot, and that is the one to steady the ship for the Hawks.
They needed that one, and it was well roved there, and that's a killer for the Waverley Blues.
Yeah, especially since it was Playstead who got the tap down. You really don't want to be the one in control of the tap down when when a Hawks player is going to be pouncing like that.
It's your classic front and square. It's exactly where you want your small forward. The ball dropped, and he managed to be at the front of the pack. He ran straight through the pack and got onto a lovely little reverse goal.
More scores with
around the grounds. Mulgrave 10-8, 68 lead. Knox 1-5-11. Interesting one out of Batterham. 6-9-45 apiece between the Bears and the Rams.
Ooh.
And Upper Gully trail Templestowe 17-48 as a chance here through Begley in the middle. Kicks it down the line towards Chin. Punched away from behind. Picked it up cleanly there was Noose. Got his handball over the top. And now here's a chance. Gilo. He's kicked down in the direction of Robertson. Strong hands. And this is the perfect response from the Hawks. They've been challenged early in this third quarter. And a chance here through Robertson to kick 2 in a minute.
When you deliver the ball to Robinson out front, you're giving your defender absolutely no chance, because
There's nothing you can do there.
No, the defender
it's beautiful delivery.
Yep, it's too strong. He's got too big a body.
So Ben Robertson has a couple already. This to stretch the margin back out to 4 goals.
To be on.
The wind won't carry it enough, so just a minor score. 7-12-54, the Waverley Blues, 5-5-35, 17 minutes gone in this third quarter thanks to the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Blake Tennant on the boundary.
Yeah, it's got some more incoming scores to follow up from you, Ryan. I've got Park Orchards 5 straight 30 to Eastspring with 8-13-61, so they could be closing in on their first Premier win of the year. And Doncaster East 12-9-81 to Doncaster 3-5-23.
So back in play, thanks for that, Blake. Some interesting scores around the grounds there, of course. A lot of footy happening across the eastern suburbs today for the Anzac Day weekend. But right now here at Tormore Reserve, it's Boronia thrusting forward once again. Good punch over the top, however, from the Waverley Blues. Great tackle there laid by Sam Hale.
Got to be penalised.
Yeah.
He tried to beat the pack.
Just to make sure that Boronia opportunities are going to start drying up. So he shares it around. I think this is Sam Johnson. Gets the kick down the line. Fairchild affects the spoil. That was well done by him. And it's going to end in a stacks on the outer side there. Let's go down to the boundary line once again with Blake.
Got some more scores as well in Division 3. Got Fintry Galley 6-7-43 to Donvale 9-4-58. So cracking game down there at Wally 2. And probably the big one in Division 3, Sylvan 8-8-56 to Warrandyte 5-12-42. So Warrandyte could go 0-3.
So Hatch couldn't quite take the mark there. It was a free kick from a stoppage there for the Waverley Blues. Mohammed comes in to help out. McNamara, cool head as always, gets the kick towards Steele. Took it out in front. They're lowering the eyes well here, the Waverley Blues, and it looks like that's Kramer to be the target. He had a lot of players with him, Boronia players that is, and so they can work it out. Good numbers to the contest for the Hawks once more. And looks like Chin is going to take the mark. Run, hands to the run of, I think that's Edwards there. Sorry, it was Phillips. And down the line here is Fairchild into the pocket. He's got time, he's got space, he's got a man over the top. It's Robertson. He was tackled by Playstead, didn't matter. He managed to nail the goal anyway from the goal square.
Brash has been the perfect response from the Hawks. Obviously challenged early in that start of the third quarter, and now a couple of extra goals really puts the margin back out to pretty much where we started.
Well, that's the thing, and that is a sign of a good side. Waverley Blues, they're still not out of the contest, but they've just given up a little bit of advantage once again, but Boronia have really responded very well in the last 5 minutes.
Go boundary side, Blake Tennant.
Yeah, he's got some Division 1 scores. Got Croydon 3-6-24 to Beaconsfield 9-3-57. And the big one down at Walker Park is Mitcham 6-7-43 to Montrose 10-8-68.
So they still coming, are they, Blake? Montrose? They're still coming?
The Demons are well and truly up and coming, mate.
I thought they were gone.
So
we aren't gone yet.
That's enough. ball back in the middle. We get a stoppage here. Coming up to 20 minutes gone in this third quarter. Margin back out to 25 points. Got to 12 points, but 2 goals here from the Hawks make things difficult again for the Waverley Blues. Handball out. Burgess throws the ball onto the boot. And the Waverley Blues have got some numbers here. Should be able to do well. Facey. He's got a teammate there to pass it on to. McNamara. He's kick inbound. Finds Turner. What can they do with the ball here? They'll go long down the line. It's Hawks everywhere. Begley was one of them, and Noobs right behind him, who's having a big afternoon. Nick Noobs goes inbound.
25,
and a 25-metre penalty. He hit his target in here, but it will be a 25-metre. Oh, no, it's going towards Noobs, pretty much where Hare marked it.
Take the 25.
So Nick Noops will send them inside 50. Facey's under there for the Waverley Blues. Punched by a Boronia defender there. Facey got his handball out, but it's cut off here. Now a chance through Stanley. And the Waverley Blues do pretty well with Turner. Passing it over the top to Rufus. His kick is a dangerous one. Finds Mohammed. And they look to go into the middle of the ground. It's a dangerous kick. If it pays off, they could be on. It's a 1-on-3 contest, and the Hawks win out. Here's Brasher. Clears it out into the direction there of Hare. And the numbers were just all there for the Hawks as they go inside 50 again. McNamara is under it for the Waverley Blues. Will take a mark. 21 and a half minutes gone in this third quarter. Boronia still lead by 25 points.
So McNamara, as I've said, cool, experienced head in defence there, but his kick just had to bounce there. Hatch had to wait for it, and his kick wasn't 15. Taken by Langford, back to Hatch. They're working it down the ground once again, the Waverley Blues. They're going to need to be a bit more efficient than they have in the past 5 minutes, however. Oh, Ton Steele just goes in, and so did, that's Jared Lake there, who drew the free kick. So Boronia turn it over once more. Burgess on the outer side. Short kicking option down there, taken by Stanley.
Tell you what, he's had a good game this afternoon, Harry Burgess, off that last line of defence.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with him indeed. That kick by Stanley was a little less impressive, and it floats over the boundary line. Playing it safe, however, I suppose, Boronia at this point. Still, they can't afford to go into their shells, the Hawks. Waverley Blues could still have a sting in them. So it's Hannon versus Johnson in the ruck. Johnson tapped it down. Waverley Blues get it to Langford. The coach wrapped up, tackled and holding the ball. Tried to take them on. Don't think he had much other option, however. So Hannon to take the kick. This is Josh Hannon, of course. High ball towards centre half forward. No mark taken. At the bottom of the pack there, Noops and Mohammed. And it's going to be a ball up. Let's go to Paul Yukoni in the Carsales Stats Centre.
How Boronia have been able to turn this momentum around. They've recorded 9 of the last 10 inside 50s.
So continuous work there from Boronia. They keep thrusting forward. That kick wasn't 15. And so Jacob Mellis paid the price there by being tackled. Ball up at centre half forward for the Hawks. Consistently pushing forward now in the past few minutes. Mohammed tried to take the man, but he didn't have the ball. So a free kick, I think, to Boronia. Or am I wrong? No, yes, that is correct. And so it's Harvey Chin. Oh, well, he gets the handball off to Stanley. Stanley finds an option inside forward 50, taking the diving mark, and guess who it is? Of course, it's Ben Robertson. And he's going to go line up for his 4th goal for the game. Already has 5 goals before this game throughout the season, and looks to be another year of him being an option up forward for Boronia, a strong option at that.
Well, they got plenty. They got plenty of options in that forward 50, Boronia.
They do.
They're going to be a real headache for a lot of sides this year.
So to stretch the lead to 31 points, just about back to where we had it before when we were singing the death knell of the Waverley Blues, but sadly for Robertson, it's just faded across the right and one behind to them. Let's quickly go to the Carsales Stats Centre with Paul Yukoni.
Boronia have taken 12 marks inside 50 in this game. They took 4 in the first quarter, 4 in the second quarter, and 4 in this third quarter. So they've been consistent.
So McNamara clears it out towards the boundary line. Will roll out of bounds. 25 minutes gone in this third quarter.
3 goals.
Handy lead.
3 goals through to Ben Robertson this afternoon, gentlemen. So he's giving good value for money.
Oh, absolutely. One of the best key forwards in the league at the moment. Taken out of the ruck there was Hannon. His kick was smothered. A chance here for the Waverley Blues through Duck. Handballed it off. And they get the ball moving forward, but it's cut off now. And a good mark there by Duncanson. He'll send it down the line for the Hawks towards a pack of players. Mark there taken by Playstead. Handballed it over the top to Duck. Now they link up. Here's a chance through middle. Short kick inbound. Finds his target. Angus Kramer, that is. Now go inside 50. Williamson's the target. Out the back there. This is where he's dangerous. He keeps his feet. Burgess falls to the ground. Did well. Caught in a tackle, though. And brought to the ground by Jess Bolton. Holding the ball.
One of Beston's favourite players, Jess Bolton.
That's right.
Every time Williamson finds himself in that position that is dangerous, as you say, Ryan, he's constantly under pressure.
Well, and that's been a real credit to the Hawks back 6 this afternoon. as they clear it down, and a strong hands there by Josh Begley. Big afternoon for him. He goes down the line and hits his target beautifully. Max Brasher, come to the club this year from Upper Furniture Gully. His short kick in front of Fairchild. Picks up nicely, and the short kick over the top finds Jake Mellis. And the siren will beat any late chance for a goal, but it is the Hawks who responded after Waverley Blues came out firing in that third quarter. They'll go into three-quarter time, 8-13-61 to the Waverley Blues, 5-5-35. When we're back, we'll hear from Matt Clark down the boundary. You're listening to the Eastland Match of the Round.
Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation. She was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Tormore Reserve Eastland Match of the Round. It is the Boronia Hawks 8-13-61 with a handy lead over the Waverley Blues 5-5-31. Interesting third quarter there. The Blues kicked the first 3 goals of the game, got it to 2 goals and looked a lot better, with certainly by foot, which was a key difference. And then Boronia steadied in the second half of that quarter to stretch a margin back out to a handy 26-point lead. Wayne Brasher, your thoughts on that third quarter? It was a much more even contest, but again, they were, as good sides do, they do steady.
Well, we always knew that Waverley Blues were going to have their moment where they were going to get back into the contest. They controlled it for 14 minutes. And just speaking to Paul off air, right, it's always hard. They get it to 12 points, and then all of a sudden the opposition get that goal. Stretches it out to 4 kicks again. All of a sudden the wind just goes out of your sails a little bit. once again, Boronia were able to arrest the momentum. They started to once again take control of the midfield and started to go into their forward line with a little bit more purpose after being really challenged in the opening 10 minutes by Waverley Blues, who were really trying hard. They really did move the ball quite well, but once again, they sort of went back into their shell a bit.
Well, they were playing with a lot of confidence at that start of that third quarter, and their forward 50 entries, Jared, were much better. They were hitting up targets, and it was resulting in goals. And if they can just get a couple early again, I know we like to keep the door open always, but you can get it back to, it's hard because you're going to have to kick at least 5 goals to win this, but kick the first 2 early, it's still open.
I think it shows where Boronia's at as well, though. They're able to take, because Waverley Blues were a little bit back to their best there in terms of like what they're able to do on the field, and Boronia were just able to match it. You know, like Waverley Blues kicked into another gear, and Boronia were able to match it with them. Let's go to Brett Beston, who's got Matt Clark, the coach of Boronia.
Thanks, boys. Fascinating fourth quarter coming up. Matty, they came at you quite hard in that third quarter, but to your credit, you came back at them towards the back end.
Yeah, they're a good side, and they've been a good side for a long time, so we expect them to come again this quarter. We're sort of, we're down on personnel a little bit at the moment in our rotations, but that will never be a reason. They won contested footy, they're able to link up, and that's their strength.
So what's the story? You're 2 down on the bench, I think?
Yeah, we're 2 down, and we've probably got 1 on the ground who's struggling, so we've just got to guts it out and be brave this last quarter.
And keep those tackles up, which dropped off a little bit on that term.
That's a cornerstone, so we've got to be better at that. We didn't do it that quarter.
Thanks, Matty.
Thank you, Brett, for that one. I do wonder who that one on the ground who is struggling, who that might be, so we might keep an eye out for that.
That'll probably be Harvey Chin, I reckon, because he went back on.
He did.
With a heavily taped thigh there.
Yep, no, that's...
They've probably got him playing in a forward pocket to see if they can pinch hit with him on a few goals.
It's probably a good guess there, Brasher. So to get us underway for this final quarter here from Tormore Reserve, ball held aloft once again by the umpire. Let's go to Ryan Long to call.
Eastland match of the round, last quarter here out at Tormore Reserve. We'll get a secondary ball up here in the middle of the ground. As we said, it's a handy 26-point lead the Hawks have. They are 2 down on the bench, as mentioned there by Matt Clark. In the ruck there, no one really got a clear hit out. Kicked forward there through Muhammad in the direction of Williamson. He's well beaten. And we're going to get a ball up here with the tackle on Burgess.
It's always hard. It's always hard when you've put in a lot of effort in one quarter to get back into the contest. To actually ask yourself and your team of a second effort can sometimes take too much out of you.
Absolutely. Here's the clear out here for the Hawks in the direction of Noops. He's got to beat Hale, and the boundary line will beat both of them.
And the thing is, if Boronia get the opening goal here, that just about makes it nearly impossible for Waverley Blues, because they'll need 6 kicks to win. And really, in this competition, you're only scoring a goal every 7 minutes in this division.
That's certainly right. And with the momentum, they've got it at the moment, the Hawks. And they're holding the free kick here, going the direction of Boronia. I believe that's Stanley who's going to take the free kick. I know he's passing it on to Hannon.
And the big players don't get any smaller either as the game progresses.
As Hannon sends it long in the direction of Fairchild. Big fly, mark not taken. Out the back here, Serpanchi. Has a bit of time to McNamara, gets it back from him. Hand passes it off. Here's Hale. He's kicked down the line, pushing aside his opponent there. Williamson did well, picked it up nicely. Tried to get it over to Steele, couldn't quite do it. And that's Jess Bolton there, that's earned himself a free kick. Begley will take the advantage. And it's a turnover here now, a chance through Duck. The advantage was called. Duck towards the top of the square, 1-on-1, almost there, taken by Johnson, but not quite so. A minor score for the Waverley Blues, 5-6-36. Boronia 8-13-61 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 2 minutes gone in last term.
Perhaps a bit uncharacteristic there from Begley. Of course, you know, played at the top level, so you'd think he'd have the presence of mind to know that he was about to be smothered and decided to take the advantage and nearly cost Boronia a goal. So interesting developments down there. So the kick in for Boronia comes to Stanley, and his kick was very wide. Was that out on the full? No, boundary umpire was right on the line there and saw that Duncanson took the mark. So he's going to load up, kick it towards the wing, and it's just all Waverley Blues there in front. However, working his way to the front was Begley. He was tackled without the ball, and he'll take the free kick.
Played that well, Begley, because that was a 1-on-4.
Yeah, it was very impressive. So kicked it to the centre of the ground. Mark not taken by Ryan White. He was caught holding the ball. So Langford to load up. Let's see where he can go with it. Oh, he's just found a man leading for it. Cut off, however, by Boronia. So it's Williamson out the back. He really should have made the most of that opportunity. Really did have more time. And the ball faded right there. And Waverley Blues will move to 5-7-37 to Boronia 8-13-61 early stages of the final quarter. Ryan Long.
Yes, that's right on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
That was a comedy of errors for both sides there. Both sides had the opportunity to really hurt each other and they couldn't.
So the Hawks through Burgess, down the line. Hannon's there, just strong hands. You knew he was going to mark it. Quick little handball off to Phillips. Into the middle of the ground, there's Noops all by himself. And they could hurt him on the transition here. The kick out wide in the direction of Hare. Couldn't quite grab it. Almost there, Hale trying to get in there, involved. As the ball's spilled out on the far side. Kick into the forward 50 is smothered and it's a turnover as the Waverley Blues exit their back half in the direction of Steele. Mohammed picks it up cleanly, shrugs off his opponent and sends it long inside 50. They're certainly going for it, but the kick is a turnover here. Intercept mark there by Harry Burgess. We go boundary side to Blake Tennant.
Just got some Division 3 scores. Got Coltrane 7-5-47. This is a big one. The Whitehorse Pioneers 8-3-51. They've got Ferntree Gully 7-10-52 to Donvale 9-4-58. And Warrandyte, they're coming now 6-12-48 to Sylvan 8-9-57.
So Boronia continue to transition it down the line. Noops' kick goes towards the forward line, falls out the back, and it's all Waverley Blues back there. They need to take some time to actually sort it out, however, so now the pressure arrives. The handball's been turned over, and it's Boronia on the kick there. It fades right, and just the one behind for the Hawks. Let's go back to the boundary line with Blake Tennant.
Got some Division 2 scores. This is a big one down at Boronia Reserve. The Basin 9-9-63 to East Burwood 6-10-46.
Oh, thank you, Blake.
So an upset brewing down there at Boronia.
For Tobin Brothers, the kick-in was turned over and Hawks go forward again. It's just built towards Begley. He gets the handball over the top. He's given away the free kick. So last gasp stuff there for the Waverley Blues as they try and maintain touch in this game. McNamara juggled the mark, plays on with it, gets the kick to Duck, and Duck gets it to Steele. Short kicks all of these. Steele kicks it across the ground, trying to find the switch there. He had the man on the outer side, which was, not sure who it was, but his kick goes towards centre half forward, and Boronia cut it off once more. Harry Burgess, solid in defence today.
He's played a wonderful game this afternoon.
And so his kick comes to Duncanson, who was just in absolute space in the middle there. Not sure how he found himself with such room to move. His kick went over the top there, inside forward 50 for Boronia. The kick, the snap, the one behind. And Boronia continue to threaten. Let's go back down to Blake Tennant for Tobin Brothers.
Yeah, got some scores down at Seabeck Oval. Got Rowville 10-9-69 to Balwyn 5-6-36. And we're about to have the biggest margin in Premier this year so far. Doncaster East 18-12-120 to Doncaster 4-6-30.
So Waverley Blues link up and they go down the line. Now looking for Walker. Picks it up. He's got a man chasing him and he's caught. That's holding the ball.
Flanagan.
Well done, Flanagan.
Well done by Flanagan, who's back in the lineup today. His short kick, looking for Noops, picked up cleanly here, the Waverley Blues. And they look to take the game on. Through the middle here, Hale. Pass it off to Mohammed. And he'll send it inside 50, one-on-one. It's actually a one-on-two, flying out the back. Good strong hands from Williamson. I thought he marked that.
I really did think
certainly
he marked
from our view, that looked... And it is a ball up inside 50. Blake Tennant just quickly.
Yeah, it's got some Division 1 scores. Got Croydon.
No, sorry, Mohammed's just pulled it out of the ruck here. Going forward. Sorry to cut you off there, Blake, as the Waverley Blues look to go out of bounds here. Continue.
Got Croydon 6-6-42 to Beaconsfield 11-7-73, and down at Walker Park got Mitcham 8-7-55 to Montrose 11-10-76.
So ball about to be brought back into play inside 50 here for the Waverley Blues. We've gone 7 minutes without a goal in this last quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They still trail by 26 points. Ball brought back into play. Certainly been a much better second half from the Waverley Blues. It's been a pretty even contest.
Both sides are really starting to show how tired they're just going up and down in the one area at the moment. It's the ball's just been ping-ponged all over the ground.
So ball up inside 50. And a free kick here given to the Waverley Blues.
It's holding, and it's gone to Mohammed by the looks of it.
It's a big kick here.
So it is Mohammed that will have the shot on goal to bring this margin back to 20 points. He's played on right away and kicked it. And there's one for the Waverley Blues, 6-7-43 to Boronia, 8-15-63. 9 minutes gone in this last quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. There's a pulse, Brash. There's a pulse.
Whilst there's a pulse, there's still hope. And that's Waverley Blues have just keeping themselves in the contest.
And you have to wonder what the effect of Boronia being down 2 rotations will have. You mentioned that they're looking tired out there, Brash, all the players, not just Boronia, of course. No. But maybe the legs will, the fresh legs of the Waverley Blues will come through. Maybe a little bit of momentum will spark that into life. So on the clearance here, Boronia look to go forward. They're pushing and pushing. But it comes unstuck, and McNamara will sweep the Waverley Blues back into attack. Ton Steele takes the mark out in front. Good hands. He's a skilled player. He gets a kick just over the top of Williamson. Didn't like the look of that, but it's Waverley Blues to pick it up again. One-on-one down there in the forward line. Oh, placed dead over the top with the kick, but it fades. And it fades towards the boundary line.
Geez, that would have been big.
Just bounced. No, it didn't bounce before it crossed the line, so looks like it's going to be Flanagan to take the kick in here for Boronia. Waverley Blues just starting to mount a bit of pressure, but it's gone over the top to Brasher. He finds a man on the outer side, gets it to Fairchild. I think that might be Brasher again. So his run was good, but Hale just beats his man Robertson over the back there. That was well done. Good mark taken now on the rebound for Waverley Blues. He's got time and space, but not as much as he thought. The kick might have been a little bit affected there, but he still found Facey. And his kick's got to be perfect inside forward 50, and it was. And so the mark's been taken, I think, once again by Williamson, and he's starting to look a little bit dangerous now, Josh. So, Josh Williamson, just to try and work this second goal for the quarter through for the Waverley Blues. They're down by 20 points. This will bring them to within 14 and a chance to take this game. It's just going to fade left, I think. Oh, come back. Oh, it looks like it's gone through. It has. Josh Williamson has kicked a perler. And we definitely have a game here, Brash.
We certainly have. 7-6-48 to 8-16. Waverley Blues has, once again have challenged in the opening 10 minutes of this last quarter. They're still right in the contest.
It's a great spot. I really love their second half performance. I mean, they were on the ropes at half time, and they've come out in this third quarter, in this last half, and really put the test up to Boronia. And with a couple down on the bench, so they're low on rotations, the Hawks, and just the 14 points. They get the next one. You never know. We've kept the door open for them. Begley, the centre clearance going forward. Picked off, though, and Waverley Blues can start their attack as they go towards Mia, running onto it. He's beaten here by his opponent, but did pretty well, actually. He might be able to recover it. He had Edwards to beat, got his handball out. Almost a free kick given away. A handball out. And they can link up here. Here's Rufus, slipped through his hands and out of bounds. Almost 12 and a half minutes gone in this final term. Boronia 8-15-63 to Waverley Blues 7-7-49 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. So the ball brought back into play. Hannon rucked down to Begley, couldn't quite take it. Langford was there. So is his teammate Duck. And a free kick here going towards the Waverley Blues.
It's too high.
Chris Duck. The Duck. will send it forward for the Waverley Blues. The kick down the line, looking for Playstead. Couldn't quite take the mark. Ball hit the ground. Here's Hale, well done. Got past his opponent. Kicks towards the top of the square. Got 2 on 2. One of them there, almost mark taken. Drop though, and a big tackle. And he's gone for holding the ball.
Walker, I think, Josh Walker.
Well done, Josh Walker. And Waverley Blues will have a set shot here, Brash, to bring the margin back to 8 points.
Yeah, and they're right back into the contest here now. The lack of rotations now looks like it's starting to really hurt Boronia. Boronia have still got to keep taking the game on. They can't afford to go back in their shell. But Waverley Blues have now decided they've upped the ante here, and they're now starting to really run on their top of the ground. They're running on top of the ground again here.
He was best on ground last week. Massive kick here for the Waverley Blues. Josh Walker comes in. On the right boot, it's a beautiful looking kick. It's right to the middle. The Waverley Blues are back. Margin is back to 8 points. Strong comeback here from the Waverley Blues. 8-7 trail Boronia once the score loads up on the scoreboard. Nice little transition there from the Tormore Reserve scoreboard.
I think
8-15-63.
Yep.
So interesting. It looked a couple times that Boronia had steadied and they might be able to hold on here, but it's just they continue to keep fighting the Waverley Blues.
So back into the centre. No clear winner in the right contest, but free kick out of the middle. Once again, going the way of the Waverley Blues. So what can they do with it here? I believe that was Kramer. Gets it down. Over the top went Edwards. Couldn't quite take the mark. Mohammed came steaming through. Tackled, however. And Boronia, they have the numbers, but do they have the cleanliness by hand? Yes, they do, as they find Kieran Edwards. And now the kick out towards Phillips. Couldn't quite take the mark. It just had a little bit too much mayo on it for him, but he's got the jets on. Gets the handball out to Fairchild. This is Boronia's first opportunity in quite a while. Handball over the top to Noops, and his kick finds a free man. Strongman just came off his man to affect that spoil.
He had to do it.
He really had to. So that was, once again, impressive stuff down back there for the Waverley Blues. They've been doing it all day.
Should he have gone for goal then?
Yep.
Did he have time to run into?
He needed to take ownership there, Fairchild.
No, it wasn't Fairchild. It was Noops.
Noops.
Yeah.
He needed to take. He had to take opportunity then.
So 8-15, 63 to 8-7, 55 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We've gone 15.5 minutes in this final quarter. So on the throw-in, Playstead got the tap down. Wasn't particularly effective. As that Boronia player there, I think it might be Bolton, was wrapped up.
They need another goal here, Boronia.
They absolutely do. They definitely can't go into their shells. So middle, out of the clearance. He's done well there to Facey, but Facey was too short for Duncanson, and he's taken a strong grab over the top. And Boronia can reload once again.
They need a mark in their forward 50 here, Boronia.
So where's Robertson? Well, he's against Strongman there. He's in the pack. Hands to it. Oh, the mark has been taken, but it's not Robertson. And it looks like it is Josh Begley. Absolute headache here for Waverley Blues, as he's been all day.
This is probably the most important kick of the afternoon for Boronia, because Waverley Blues are coming. Begley can sort of arrest momentum again for Boronia.
Kicks this, I think it's done.
You reckon?
No.
That's a big call. So Josh Begley, with all the experience, with all the talent, we've picked him up, and he's let us down. It's faded off to the left, and just the one behind for Boronia.
He's missed a couple of gilt-edge opportunities this afternoon, Begley.
Well, that goal at half-time we keep going back to, that would have really stretched. That would have been a 6-goal margin at half-time and would have made it really difficult for the Waverley Blues. But they hang in there. I feel like Boronia just one goal away from really breaking the spirits of the Waverley Blues. Be pretty hard to come back from a 15-point margin. Currently, they trail by 9. The kick here's a turnover right into the hands of Burgess.
That's their 30th intercept mark today, Boronia.
30th.
I wonder how many Harry Burgess has had. He's had a good afternoon at the office as he sends it long down into the forward 50. Strong hands there by Robertson, not quite taken. Handballed out and towards the pocket. And Brasher there wrapped up in a tackle out of bounds. We'll get a boundary throw in. 17.5 minutes gone in this last quarter. The Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It is Boronia 8-16-64 leading the Waverley Blues 8-7-55. as the ball is brought back into play. Placed it there in the ruck, got his tap out, punched away there, and here's a chance they'll exit their back 50 there. Langford finds his target in Hale. What can they do with the ball here? Hale goes down the line, 2-on-2 contest. Mark almost taken there by Turner, fell through his hands. Well done by Jared Lake. Brasher cleaned up, off to Begley, up to Max Brasher now, off to Burgess. They've got players open, Fairchild's one of them. The kick was smothered, so it goes inside 50. Gilo slips down, couldn't quite pick it up. Here's a chance though, through Noops. He's handball into a dangerous spot though, and Waverley Blues have some numbers, and they link up. Now the chance through the duck, going in towards the middle of the ground. Begley sends it inside 50 again, but Waverley Blues have got some numbers. It's gone past them all, off to Robertson. Corner tackle here by Strongman. And we'll get a ball up inside 50 for the Hawks.
No communication there for the Waverley Blues. They had two players at the fall of the ball.
I think I may have misjudged where it was.
No, I think I saw it the same way. It looked like it was out in front for both of them. So Boronia now with a dangerous opportunity here. Waverley Blues just fighting for their lives in this game, and they've given away the free kick, and it looks like it's Nick Noops to take it.
It was there. It could have been play on, but it was there.
Let's have a look at the replay there. It was just a little bit over the shoulder there.
Just a little. It could have been play on.
Head in the hands of, I think it might have been Ben Turner giving that away.
If it was on the wrong side of the umpire, that's play on.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, Brasher. So Nick Noops to line up. He's been big all day.
They need to kick this goal. They've had plenty of opportunities the last 2 or 3 minutes, Boronia.
I mean, 8-16 says it all on the scoreboard, so let's see if they can reverse that trend of inaccuracy. The Boronia Hawks, it's gone right over the umpire's head, and that might have just broken the resistance of the Waverley Blues. Huge goal by Nick Noops.
He's had a massive afternoon.
Yeah, he has. I think there's probably still about 7 or 8 minutes left in the contest.
There's still time for the Waverley Blues, but it's going to have to come down to their
kick 3 goals. They need a quick one, again, as a quick response. So this centre clearance will be very important.
It has to be pretty perfect for the Waverley Blues.
20 minutes gone in this final term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Boronia have a 15-point lead. 9-16-70 to the Waverley Blues. 8-7-55 in the ruck there. Hannon to Begley. We've seen that a lot over the afternoon. Couldn't quite take it cleanly as Mohammed kicks the ball out and towards the wing. I thought he's had a fantastic game so far, and he'll pick it up himself. Passes it off to a teammate there in pressure. They'll go inside 50 looking for Steele, and Jared Lake has given away a free kick, and Steele will take it here. They've got to move pretty quickly for a chance. The kick in the direction of a teammate, but Williamson, wherever the top of his head. Duncanson will clean up for the Hawks, sending it out towards far side, but looks like it might be the Waverley Blues clean up here. Mia hand passed it over the top to Playstead as he goes inside, standing his ground, front position, nicely taken there.
Duncanson.
By Cooper Duncanson.
Tell you what, he's played a couple of big minutes, Duncanson, on that half-back line.
He certainly has. Their defence has really been strong this afternoon, but they'll have to keep performing as Waverley Blues look to re-enter their forward 50. Up towards the pack of play. Jared Lake flies, so does Begley. Holds the mark. Josh Begley. Phenomenal.
That is a big mark.
He's put his body on the line. A short kick over to Stanley, and they'll be happy just to run a couple minutes off the clock. We've gone almost 22 minutes into this last quarter. They have a 15-point lead. Waverley Blues have been gallant in this second half, but Boronia have had the answers every time they've been challenged. Almost taken on the contest there by Duncanson's tackle. Through Fairchild. He's kicked down the line. Standing underneath it, couldn't quite take it, Serpanchi. And G, though, happy to see that out of bounds.
That was a really good handball by Max Brasher there to Fairchild that broke the game open again.
Yeah, and got it. Certainly got some ground for the Hawks.
Let's go quickly down to the boundary line with Blake Tennant.
Got a upset coming down at the Heights Reserve. Got North Ringwood 8-13-61 to Mirrabach 9-8-62.
That's impressive for North Ringwood as Waverley Blues go down the line here to steal. This thrust forward is probably going to have to be successful. He gets it to Langford. What can he see from his forward line? He's got a man out in the pocket. I think it's Williamson. No, it's Walker. It's Walker. He's taken a diving mark. He was the one that kicked the last goal for the Waverley Blues.
They need to kick this one.
They absolutely do. Walker was in two minds there, assessing other options, but now it looks like he's going to take on the responsibility. He's got a tight angle. He's going to have to run. He made the angle worse for himself to run onto his right foot, but he's made an absolute cinch of it. He made that look easy to Josh Walker, and there's still life within the Waverley Blues.
Yep, they're still coming, the Waverley Blues.
Well, we're gone 23 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
It's 9 points.
It's been a very impressive second half from the Waverley Blues. We looked for a response at half-time, and they have given it, and they've looked a lot better, a lot cleaner by foot. They've took the game on a bit more, and certainly worked their way in with a bit more confidence.
7 goals to 3 in the second half for Waverley Blues, so they've hit back hard in the second half.
You're right.
They're still 9 points down, but they're still in the contest.
Well, Boronia probably won the battle in the midfield with their centre clearances. Mohammed's done really well for the Waverley Blues. He might be able to receive it here. Max Brasher there, brought into a tackle.
I think the move from Mohammed from the forward line up into the centre has been a pretty good one.
He's had a massive second half for the Waverley Blues. In the ruck here, Hannon falling down to Stanley, brought down in the tackle, and umpire has called that holding the ball. So free kick here for the Waverley Blues. Have they got time? It's Chris Duck. The Duck goes down the line and hits his target.
Fresher.
So Fresher will send it inside 50 here for the Waverley Blues. Can they get a late one over the top of Playstead's head? Falls in the hands of Steele. Couldn't quite pick it up. He'll receive it though again. Hand pass it off to Mohammed. Puts it on the boot. To skied it right up towards the top of the square. Oh, almost just bounced. Instead, it falls into the hands of Duncanson, who clears it. And a mark taken. It's a good one here for the Hawks, and they can run some time off the clock with Edwards. Will be in no rush with 25 minutes gone in this last quarter and a 9-point lead. And a short kick here to Jared Lake. Can't be a whole lot of time left in this last quarter.
I reckon 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops.
Yeah, Waverley Blues are going to have to be perfect from here. As the kick for Boronia comes down the line and the mark's been taken safe. Oh no, it wasn't actually paid. It was to Begley, but they found the man over the top. It's Gilo. Can he steady and kick the finisher for Boronia? No, not quite. It fades right this time. Once again,
should have given the handball there. Should have given the handball.
Let's go quickly down to the boundary line.
Just really quickly, boys. Flanagan's come off. He looks to be done for the day as well for Boronia.
So that's 3 injuries there.
Be a pretty courageous win with their losses on the boundary line. Hand pass over the top here to Phillips, and he's kicked too far out, and I think that's out on the full. Couldn't quite see that from our angle. I believe that Fresher will take the kick for the Waverley Blues. And this second half's been, as we said, a lot better from the Waverley Blues as the Duck in the direction there of Steele. Through his hands out the back, caught in the tackle. Jared Lake runs his opponent down. And there's the siren. It's Boronia who'll walk away 10-point winners at Tormore Reserve. 9-17-71. The Hawks have defeated the Waverley Blues 9-7-61. An entertaining second half after Boronia dominated the first 2 quarters. So a fantastic contest in the end. They didn't make the most of the opportunities, the Hawks, but they still managed to hold on with the Waverley Blues really breathing down their neck, Wayne Brasher.
Yeah, it did, and probably the game finished a little bit of an anti-climax there because I just sort of felt that there might have been another minute there, and Waverley Blues looked like they were going to go into their forward 50 again. Kudos to both sides. I think both sides really showed today that they're right in the mix for finals. Waverley Blues, I've got to give them some credit. They fought back hard. They outscored Boronia in the first half, but it's so often the case you just cannot afford to give a side a head start.
And there's that point as we go to Brett Beston, who I believe has got Nick Noops down on ground.
We have indeed. He's had a colossal day today. He looks absolutely, you-know-whatted. He's kicked a couple of goals. He's rucked superbly, mate. Well played today. Great game.
Yeah, cheers. No, Waverley, a great outfit. How many games in a row have they won? 21, is it?
A lot.
A lot, yeah. So when you come into it, it'll be a tough game. Got off to a good start, but I thought it was tough.
It was an interesting game because they came at you really hard in that third quarter, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. But then you came back at them, so you sort of regrouped and you were able to go again.
Yeah, pretty much. When they come back, they came back hard in the third quarter, but we just stuck to what we knew, kept playing our style, and yeah, just back to something.
The really courageous thing was too, because you had bodies going down. You were 2 down on the bench, and you lost another one right at the end, so that made it really hard with the lack of rotations.
Yeah, it did. I don't think I came off in the second half, so I was blowing hard out there. I think Joshy Hannon was too, playing. I think he might have played the whole second half in the ruck, so I reckon he'll be sore tonight.
Mate, well played today. Go and have a rest and a well-earned drink.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Well deserved. He was fantastic this afternoon, as were pretty much everyone on Boronia. I don't think they had a weak link, and obviously they were hurt with rotations in the second half, which made things difficult for them. But as good sides do, they were able to keep fighting, and they even in that last quarter, a couple inside 50s that led to a goal, were able to get those responses, because Waverley Blues, they were pushing, but it's a fantastic job here by the Hawks.
I mean, it definitely shows something when we heard Noops down there in the interview. He sounded stuffed.
He sounds exhausted.
He sounds completely almost shell-shocked.
They've earned it, and look, I think their first half is as good as we've seen from a Division 2 side, and that really put Waverley Blues behind the 8 ball. And if they play like that in that first half, fully fit with a full set of rotations, that's the benchmark, I think, for the division. I think that's what you've got to look at, and Waverley Blues, certainly, they'll take a lot out of this. They'll well beat in the first half, but they'll be pretty happy that they were able to turn things around in the second half and get stuff going. So there's a lot for them to think about going into next week.
Yeah, they'll take some positives out of that for sure. I'm sure Tom Langford, he'll focus on what they did in the second quarter. He'll obviously there's some lessons to be taken from that first half, and that pressure environment that Boronia created in that second half, it really probably taught Waverley Blues a couple of lessons there about what it's like to play at the top level at Division 2. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond, and whether or not there's a
first loss in how long is it? 20 wins in a row. So it's they don't lose very often, but. A very fantastic win there by the Boronia Hawks. I believe our boys on the boundary are going to go down to the rooms and hear the song just shortly. But I think if we want to get to some votes soon, I mean, my 3 votes for Nick Noops. I thought he was fantastic, especially in that first half. He gets my 3. Thought Josh Begley was fantastic. Probably, I'd almost give it to him if he had capitalised on those set shots. He missed a couple there that probably could have iced the game a bit earlier, but he was incredible in the midfield. And then I'll give Harry Burgess one. I thought he was great on the half back line.
Yep, that was where my thoughts were with Burgess.
I've forgotten Hannon as well. I thought Hannon's role in the ruck,
fantastic,
and the amount of marks, and there's quite a few. Mohammed for the Waverley Blues was very impressive. Thought McNamara was pretty good. Look, I was meant to do 3, and I've given about eight people votes, but
it's hard not to overlap with you now, Ryan.
yeah, that's right.
So I think you're completely right. Nick Noops is definitely best on ground for my votes. I would have to say Burgess might have edged out Begley a little bit there, because there were so many times that the Waverley Blues were pushing, and that backline just stood up so well, led by Burgess, and of course Jared Lake deserves a shout out in that case as well. And I want to give my 1 vote because Waverley Blues were again challenged so much defensively. I want to give my 1 vote to Sam Hale. He was honestly one of the rocks down back, stood up so well when it was difficult to transition to the ball. He was one of the ones with the clean possessions.
Absolutely. We are going to go to a short break, unless we've got the boys down on as we've got Blake Tennant there on boundary side. I believe he's got Josh Begley with him.
G'day, Josh. Wonderful game today, mate. Talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, 2 undefeated teams coming in, so it was nice for the boys to get a good win and have a good test against Waverley Blues, who coming off a 20-game win streak, which was nice.
Talk about that game. Speaking of Waverley Blues, they knew that, you know, they're a fighting team, and do you felt like they were always going to come straight after you? I know you guys were up by a heavy margin. Do you feel like they were always going to come straight after half-time?
Yeah, definitely. All the good sides do. So you can see when they run and carry the ball from the half-back, they get numbers back and run through the middle, so they're quite dangerous. So had to be on their toes. Had 2 guys go down the last half, so it's a hard-fought win.
Talk about you guys are 3-0 now. You guys are flying at the moment. What has it been? What's been the main mindset for you guys being 3-0?
I think we just had a big pre-season. We've worked hard. I wasn't here last year, but I think we're a bit unfit last year as a team, so we've put the kilometres in the legs, and I think we're quite a fit side. So as you can see, we had 2 down on the bench and run the game out well, so it's a good sign.
Can we go up to the van, boys? Any questions for Begley?
Yeah, Josh, fantastic performance today. Congratulations on the win. I thought your first half from you and the side is just about as good as any side I've seen in Division 2. Did things just start to click in that first half? I know you were challenged the last couple of weeks, especially against Heathmont, but in the first half you guys looked running on top of the ground really well.
Yeah, it probably clicked in that first half. Obviously, have quite. It's obviously, we're not going to play our best footy at the start of the year, but I think that was a sign in the first half that we can gel, and that's our best footy at the start.
And just on you coming down to Boronia, I know you knew a couple of the guys making the transition down here. But what's it been like at the club, just your experience so far in the opening weeks, and you've been enjoying your footy down here?
It's a proud club. There's a lot of people that come down from past players, and I know Joshy Hannon and Luke Hannon, so it's been good to play with them. Been great fun.
Josh, one of the things that a sign of a good side is when a side comes at you twice and you're still able to hold on. I think that sort of really breeds some character into this and builds a lot of self-belief, doesn't it?
It does. Obviously, in the finals and back end of the year, you're going to get challenged. So if you can stand up against a quality opposition, it's nice to know. And if you can fight back with that challenge, it's good to get the win in the end.
I think one of the things that Boronia have got this year that I think are going to trouble a lot of your sides is the height that you've got in your forward 50. Because if Robertson's not kicking goals, it looks like you've got plenty of other guys out there that can take a good mark and are able to kick a goal.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we've got Kieran Edwards from Knox and Mitchie Jellard from Noble Park that came down. So they both can be dangerous in that forward 50 with Robbo. So it's nice to have a few options for goal.
Josh, Jared here. So we've seen you play centre. We've seen you play forward a little bit. What have you been told by Clarkie in terms of like what you're going to expect throughout the year in terms of where you're going to play? Are you going to plug the holes, or have you got one main sort of role that you're going to be playing?
It's just week by week, I guess. Obviously playing most of my footy forward growing up in the last couple of years, but it's been nice to play a little bit of midfield and get up the ground. So week by week, I think it will just be the split mid-forward.
Josh, congratulations on the win. A big one for the club, 3-0. Enjoy the win tonight.
Thanks, boys. Have a good day.
That was Josh Begley. A fantastic performance from him, and certainly in that first half, their midfield were really on top in the centre clearances. Their ball use inside 50, transitioning off the half-back line. You saw, especially when they really got going in that first half, the way they linked up down the ground and led down to a few goals up forward was really impressive. And look, when they play like that, they're very hard to stop. And Waverley were put under the pump. It was a big challenge.
It was indeed, and as you've said, I think this is going to be the benchmark for Division 2 for other teams to try and play against. Brash?
I think this is going to be the moving forward. I think this is going to be the marker game this season for the first half of the year, where we're going to judge a lot of other sides against this particular game, because I think both sides gave an insight into what they're capable of, and on any given day, it looks like these two sides could easily face off.
Yeah, I think so. I think you see them, obviously they'll play a second time this season, but I think this is a potential finals matchup. Both sides will be there come September. I have no doubt about that. And I think for especially for Boronia, last week they didn't play their best footy, and Heathmont probably had them outmatched for a fair part of it, and they still got the job done. And as we said, that's what good sides do. They win when they're not performing that well. They were challenged big time in that second half, a couple of rotations down, got the win. So 3-0, they banked those wins up. They're looking for a top 2 spot this year. We always talk about the importance of the double chance, and that's something Boronia will certainly be looking at. And then from a Waverley Blues perspective, the big positive there is that they were really under the pump in that first half, and they're back 50. They held in pretty strong, and they, repeat inside 50s entries for Boronia. They probably had a few chances that they should have capitalised on, but they held up well, and then when they started to get running and moving the ball a bit better, hitting some targets up forward 50, they looked a different side in the second half.
Yeah, you want to see, what these teams can do when they're at their best early in the season. However, you don't want to be peaking early in the season either, and I think that's what the benefit is here for both teams. That Boronia might have been down a couple of rotations. They might not have played their best footy against Heathmont, for example, but they are, feeling out what they can do as a team. And for the Waverley Blues, perhaps even more so coming into a new division and feeling out like what the actual feel of the competition is, what they're coming up against, the sort of mindset, the sort of pressure, and understanding a little bit more of what they're going to need to do to build to finals. So they're not going to, they're not going to peak early. They're going to try and peak towards the finals, of course, and take games like this with them as a lesson to take into that finals race and capitalise on it there.
I also think too, gentlemen, look, I know we can also look at a contest and say, yeah, look, these players haven't come back yet, and we don't want them to peak. But that's look, at the end of the day, that's no guarantee, right? You can still have your best side on the park, but at the end of the day, you can only beat the opposition that's presented to you in front of it. Now, you can have the best side on the park, but still get beaten by 5 or 6 goals. So just because you've got players out is no guarantee. It's a help to have them, but it's not a guarantee. And the thing is, look, I think both Waverley Blues and Boronia today, I just think, look, if these two sides, if they stay on the same trajectory, they'll be playing finals. But there's other sides out there.
Heathmont proven last night they're
going to be breathing down their neck. There's going to be 4 or 5 clubs, or maybe 6 clubs in this division, right? They're going to be gunning for 4 spots this year, and whoever can get on a roll early on and bank wins in the first half of the season, go into the second half of the season holding the upper hand.
And we'll look at around the grounds here, some interesting results. Vermont.
Have they won?
16, 14, 110. Have they won? Norwood, 5, 8, 38. So that is look, we expected maybe there'd be a response, but to win by, to be 72 points up late in the last quarter, that's...
Can I turn around and use an AFL term that they've been using this year?
What's that?
Vermont eviscerated Norwood this afternoon.
There you go. Moving on in Premier Division. East Ringwood, 14, 15, 99. Look to be home against Park Orchards, 8-7-55. Rowville, 11-10, 76 to the Balwyn Tigers, 6-6, 42. That's a very nice win for Rowville.
That's a big win by Rowville.
Let's not underestimate them. They are a real contender this year. Doncaster East, Jesus, 27-16, 178 to Doncaster, 6-6, 42.
That's ugly. Yeah. That is ugly.
That's big
That's an evisceration if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, you're right on that one. Looks like Montrose have won against Mitcham. Last result I've got there is 14 points. Points up.
They're still coming, and they've been and gone.
Haven't heard from Lilydale for quite a while. 12-34. That was the last updated score. Please update your scores.
You'll be waiting forever for that.
I'll get phone calls.
That's a shame. I'm looking at the Murrell-Bark North Ringwood score.
Yeah, so we haven't heard the update on that one. They were a point in front. North Ringwood came back into that game. Still don't know there. Don't know anything about South Belgrave. Croydon Trail Beaconsfield 6-6-42 to 11-7 73. Some issues.
Another week where Croydon can't kick over 50 points,
which is a real worry.
And on a day like this as well,
this is the result of the round almost. The Basin 11-12 78. East Burwood 8-10 58.
Now this is not a surprise because last year the Basin East Burwood went up to the Basin last year and got beaten.
True, but it is a very different side. I'm actually shocked by that one.
It's a bogey ground for East Burwood.
So and then Mulgrave comfortable winners over Knox. Their last score there 52 points up. Templestowe very comfortable over Upper Gully 64 points up. The last time we've heard from them. Jumping into Division 3 now. Few interesting results. Furniture Gully looked to have skipped ahead 12-13, 85 to 10, 6-66 over Donvale. Fair Park Oakley District is a twilight fixture tonight, so if you're down in that area, jump down to Fair Park to watch that game between those two sides. Last result that we've seen at Warrandyte Sylvan, 9-13-67. The Bloods trailed the Cats 10-11-71. That's a result I certainly didn't see coming.
They came back.
We don't know the final result, but that's a big one there. Coldstream trail Whitehorse by 12 points last time we heard there, which is another interesting result. And then jumping into Division 4, haven't heard anything from Forest Hill. Forest Hill gets results in Surrey Park, 17-12, 114 over Churnside Park, 4-6-30. Premiership favourites, I think, locked in there. And then Kilsyth after a pretty competitive start from Nuttawading, 62 points up against the Lions, 15-12. 102 to Nuttawading, 5-10-40. Most interesting result? I think it's got to be the Basin. The Vermont wins the stunning by that sort of margin, but the Bears to knock off East Burwood, very interesting, as Montrose getting a confirmation 11-15, 81 defeated Mitcham, 9-12-66. They have the wood on the Tigers. Very impressive there. Gentlemen, will start to wrap things up, but Wayne Brasher, was a big game here and a great response in the second half to make a really interesting contest.
Yeah, look, great contest. Both sides of the hold their form. They're playing finals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Balwyn here by 5 points. Where's my last? Hang on. Oh, Jesus. The game day has them up by 34 points.
That's a huge comeback
so
for the
that's a big comeback by the Tigers. I don't know if I've missed a call from Ray Baird. I ignored it. Next
thing you know, Ryan Coldstream will have got up on you.
Oh, well, they will, and that's certainly, don't take the scores. We don't know the final scores here yet for most of those games, but certainly some interesting results. Jared Beanlin, fantastic to have you back in the calling seat today. Great call from you.
Thanks very much, Ryan. It was a great game to call. Just fantastic day all around.
Absolutely, and you'll be calling on Tuesday as well for the Anzac Day game, I believe. Wayne Brescia, as good as always. Your two nephews out there today. I'm sure you would have enjoyed it.
I did. Wonderful day. Great win for Boronia, but Waverley Blues not whatever we go with that.
Paul Uconi, Stats Centre. Thanks to Car Sales Day. Excellent job, Paul.
Thank you.
And our boundary riders, Blake and Besto. Megan Green, Lee Green, continue to put up the hard work. And that's it, all done for us here at the Eastland Match of the Round. It is Boronia walking away winners by 10 points.